So coming up on 40 seconds to go before the start of the last race out on the water, and there is the race to the finish. Australians have been so rock solid, Stevie. They are in the position right now with Los Gallos, Spain, the top two. New Zealand just on the outside looking in. So your battle really is between Spain, New Zealand. Canada's probably too far away to get there, but those are the three boats, Australia, Spain, and New Zealand.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's between those three boats. The Australians need an average one. They've got to be fourth or better to be sure to be in the final, and they've got space up the line and a Rolex pole predictor on the top of them. Big bunch group at the bottom, favoured position middle of the line, but I love where the Bonds Flying Roos are right now. I don't see a gap for the black foils, and they don't wait for Slingsby to wind it up here. He turns to the line. How's your timing, Tom Slingsby?
This is the umpires. Early start penalty, Canada.
Oh, and it's good news for the black foils. Bad news for Spain, and well, absolute perfection from Slingsby. Wound it up and struck it out the park with that start when he needed it most. Can the black foils roll over the top of DS Automobile France? They need to be at least one boat between them and the Spanish if they want to get into the final. That's where we've got to be focused for the rest of this race. Spain have got work to do.
Hey, that's right, Sam.
So at mark number one, it's the Bonds Flying Roos as the rich keep getting richer. The black foils back in the game, sit in second place. Third place right now looks like belongs to DS Team France.
Yeah, you see that dark patch of water? That's, I think, the breeze that Lisa's been talking about near the shore. Really big gust of wind close into the fans. I don't think that's just the cheering fans managing to energise the breeze out there. Slingsby now, he just got to be smooth from here.
Your Rolex sprint leaders, the Bonds Flying Roos, they are in form, no question about it. Winners of the last three events. They've won 4 of the 6 events so far this season.
Spain have done a nice move by spinning away early here. They now have the right of way as they come back towards the fleet. Expect most boats to try and turn right at gate 2. That's what we've seen all day. Spain are looking for some mistakes from other boats. They've overtaken one. They look like they're past Rockwall. But they've got to overtake another boat. They've got to be right behind the Spanish. At the moment, they're making it happen. The Spanish are. They've got to potentially give room to the French at the bottom. Rockwall and North Star Canada are going to... Oh, no, Rockwall choose to follow. Patient work there. Black foils go round, but the black foils have got to keep the French close and not let the Spanish get right behind them if they want to make the final.
And Giles Scott and North Star Canada, the only boat to opt for the other side. They avoid that big pileup on there, but will they pay the price for less breeze? We can also tell you that Brazil, Mubanda Brazil, unable to go in this race, so their day is done. So you've got 6 boats basically fighting for 2 spots. The Bonds Flying Roos have already secured 1 spot, Stevie. There you see the race to the final, 5 points clear of the Black Foils. So the Black Foils and Los Gallos really battling it out for the last position.
Yeah, exactly. And the Bonds Flying Roos are pretty much down the road right now. I'm sure Hannah will keep us honest on the points as things go on. But what was interesting was the Spanish did a better manoeuvre out of gate 2. They will have made a gain from that manoeuvre. The Australians, there you go. So it's an arm wrestle here between the Spanish and New Zealand. If it stays with just 4th and 5th, that's enough for Los Gallos. The Spanish have to sort of stay directly behind New Zealand and they'll make the final. North Star have the right of way here. Tricky decision for the Spanish to make right now. This is going to get very awkward for them very quick unless they can sneak across in front.
Right, stay here, Siege. There, you got it.
So black foils, expect, as we move up towards the boundary, expect the black foils to move exactly when Los Gallos move to try and slow down the Spanish boat here.
Another tight crossing there, Hannah.
They've done really well there, the black foils, as 2 boats having to dip behind North Star Canada, who did really well actually from that left turn at the bottom, but black foils been sailing really nicely to hold that tight lane on the Spanish all the way across here.
France have made a bit of a gain. France look good, so there's definitely good wind out that side. Black foils manoeuvre, Rockwall back in it. The New Zealand team have got to make something happen here. They dropped back a lot of places. Oh, they've got it on the foil though, and the French are slow trying to build. Could be a chance to gain. It's going to be really awkward up the course. Tactically very difficult for the black foils as we come up to the top here. Where are Los Gallos?
Look at Liv Mackay getting a better bird's eye view there. She comes up and checks the left side of the boat.
Yeah, and you see left-hand side of the screen there, Spain. They've managed to keep themselves in a bit of space. They're just on the edge of our camera. That little bit of lateral separation, Spain are a bit closer to the bottom of the screen than New Zealand. That means that when New Zealand manoeuvre, they're going to have a problem with Spain. Spain will have the right of way when the black foils manoeuvre. So Burling needs to be sure of getting across in head. And I think the Spanish have just sailed a little quicker across here. Here goes Burling. He's got to be sure to be ahead. It's tight, tight, tight. Oh, I tell you what, Diego Botín will be asking Craig Mitchell.
He's going to sell it.
Wait here, see if we can hear anything. Rockwell are on the foils, but they've not got right of way in there on black foils. They have on the Spanish.
There we go. Left here. Not too bad.
This is why they are the best in the world, Hannah, to be able to put your boat in that tight a quarter.
This is just what you don't want. If you've got a tight battle between two boats to try and make that final, you don't want someone who's not in contention of taking your spot in the final getting mixed up in your own little battle.
And that decision is under review. Green flag! Green flag! Burling by millimetres has snuck across the front of Los Gallos. Oh, what a call! That could be it in the race to the final.
Even on points right now with Los Gallos, but if they win or finish ahead of Los Gallos in this race, they will get that second position into the final.
Well, the crucial boat now, Todd, is Rockwell. If Spain can overtake Rockwell, Spain will beat the black foils. As it sits at the moment, they're equal on points, but in SailGP, we always know that whoever does better in the last race gets to the final, and the fans are frothing.
Kiwi fans are on their feet, and we've got a good one. It's between New Zealand and Spain. Who will get the last position as Australia sails away?
Oh, and it looks to me like the black foils have gone a bit wide. They've sailed a bit of extra distance. Difficult management here, the black foils. Look, they're struggling to get forward on Rockwell, Denmark. A mistake by the black foils down here. Bit of extra distance potentially sailed. Or they're trying to force Rockwell up. No, he's just trying to force Rockwell up, but he's potentially making life very difficult for himself here.
Right now, Nikolai Sehested, the driver for Rockwell, Denmark, is Diego Botin's best friend as they make the maneuver. There you see the Bonsline Rouge on the right-hand side of your screen. They're into the final. Here comes North Star Canada, the home team with Giles Scott, Olympic gold medalist. And now you've got Pete Burling, Diego Botin, and Nikolai Sehested all headed for the same direction.
Sehested, will he manoeuvre away? It's been favouring the right turn on average. They're all going straight. If they go straight, the Spanish are... Oh, no, they go Rockwell. Crucial manoeuvre here. They split the course. Black foils are still ahead of the Spanish, but Spain will be ahead of Rockwell at this gate. It's all about where the best wind is upwind. Lisa, what are you seeing?
Right here, do you want to get onto the left early?
Yeah, the day is changing dramatically. The wind's dropped off a lot and the course has moved, so the course geometry is a little bit different, which is why we saw those left turns. Australia and Canada, they're not foiling. Rockwell's managed to stay on the foils as they head towards the grandstand and pick up the breeze on the left-hand side first. So yeah, it's changing out here and it's getting tougher and tougher.
All right, you see the wind across the board, as Lisa referred to. It's 17 kilometers an hour. That's across the course right now, as it's hovering right between 17 and 18. So, Hannah, what do you do with just 2 legs left if you're Spain, if you're New Zealand?
There's actually quite a lot of racing left, and exactly like Lisa said, it feels as though the day's changed quite a bit since the earlier races. We're just starting to see boats sailing with one hull in the water. If I'm Spain, I'm going to stay right on the heels of New Zealand. That's all you can do. Interestingly, we've got Rockwell, Denmark. They've just done a foiling manoeuvre at the top of the screen there. Not taking a great angle, but it's definitely a different day to what it was earlier.
And you see the green on top. That means they can be up and foiling over 30 kilometers an hour. There's New Zealand. They hit the mark. With this configuration, Stevie, is it around 30 or does it need to be more?
Yeah, it's around 30 again, but you see the black foils are foiling. Rockwell's foiling, Los Gallos are about to foil, and it looks like it's been a gain to the side of the course where Black Foils and Los Gallos went, so it's not good news for the Black Foils fans at the moment because they do need that Danish boat between them. Such a tricky thing to manage right now. I think on board the Black Foils, all you can do is sail yourself as fast as possible and see if you can stop the Spanish somewhere near the finish line. Absolute tactical masterclass happening here from Burling in terms of controlling the Spanish boat, but he's got to try and manipulate the situation to let Rockwell fill the gap. Rockwell coming towards more wind. Could be good news for the Danish.
And forward.
It does look like Diego's doing exactly what you said, Hannah, and just sort of being super patient and in some ways hoping. But again, you've got to keep just doing the right thing when you're in the boat, that position. Don't do something crazy. Don't panic. Keep doing the right thing. And then let's see what we get. 200 metres to the top end of this course. And there's another decision for the teams to make. Do you turn right? Do you turn left?
I think the Spanish will know that if they just stay, they know they're kind of fast. If they can stop any boats getting in between them, then the chance of the Black Foils being able to convert that into a position that will put them into the final is really difficult. So they're doing, for me, exactly the right thing. Easier said than done, though, to sit on the tail of a boat that is sailed very well.
What a story that would be if Pete Burling, after almost 4 months off, gets the boat back on the water and gets himself into an event final right away. He's in a battle right now with Los Gallos and the Spanish. So can they do enough? And hoping that someone can get in between. I think it's tough, Pete. I mean, Stevie, if you're hoping for Peter Burling to make a mistake, good luck. If you're hoping for Diego Bermuda to make a mistake, good luck.
No, absolutely. And I think, to be perfectly honest, I think you can't expect for that. They managed to get a split from North Star Canada. So there's a chance the Black Foils can gain on the Canadians, but with home crowd fever pitched on the shore, it seems unlikely they're going to make a mistake as well. So I think, yeah, maybe a bit too little for the Black Foils.
This is the shot as they make their way towards the grandstand. Once again, the fans in Halifax will welcome home the green and gold, the winners of the race, the Bonds Flying Roos.
And look at this, Black Foils, this is because he's trying to slow up and get in a match race with the Spanish. He's trying to give the Spanish a really difficult position.
Second place belongs to the home team. Take a bow, North Star Canada.
Yeah, Burling's trying to set it up. He's got to try and slow up the Spanish boat and let the Rockwool team catch him and then dive across the finish line just before the
here
Danes.
we go.
Absolute carnage here, potentially. The Spanish, here we go. So now Rockwool shoot to the line. Black Foils turn to the line. The Black Foils have done enough potentially to open the door for Rockwool. It's going to be all about the finish line here. Black Foils have got to get across in third, and then it'll be who can get there first.
Oh, too close to call. Did he get it?
Burling, that was some action. I think Diego made it. I think Spain have got across the finish line there. They did get across in fourth. They beat Rockwool by about half a metre.
Oh, mercy.
Wow. 3 boats on the line there, magic. Oh, what a moment. I mean, fair play, and yeah, the Spanish were just patient. Let's not make a mistake.
So we look forward to that as we come up on 1 minute to go before the start of the event final.
We have a look at that graphic. I think we know who the favourites are.
Yeah.
They've won a lot of these events. They've done 54 events and they've won 18 of them. I mean, they know how to win the Bonds Flying Roos.
So here we go. This is the calm before the storm out on the Hudson. With 42 seconds to go, where do you want to be, Hannah Diamond?
Where do you want to go?
Well, I think this next part is going to be really crucial. That turn back to the line, how they accelerate. Looks like the Australians are taking an early turn back. They look to be in controlling position at the moment.
Yeah, North Star, they're out the back of the box at the moment. They're going to look to wind up and find a gap through. They'll be able to get foiling first, but can they find space? Slingsby's going to match that turn, I imagine, here. Australia have got to accelerate well. North Star not foiling. Campbell James says they're racing. If they're racing, they're already late on board the other teams. North Star are firing in here on the foil. 9 seconds to go. All the teams look late to me, but North Star right now are well positioned on the inside. Can Emirates GBR come in fast? I don't think so. They're going to be late. Oh, the Bonds Flying Roo crossed the line first. Brilliant start by Slingsby, but tactically the advantage with Scott. Can he control the situation? It looks like they're going to need to be really fast because that Bonds Flying Roo boat has got more wind, better angle, and rolling over the top. The Bonds Flying Roos are going to lead again at Mark 1. Heard the British wanted to be up the line, so clearly it was a very fast angle from the upwind end of the line. Because Emirates GBR, they were late, but they've nearly rolled over the top of all the other teams here.
At mark number 1 at the event final in New York City, it's the Bonds Flying Roos out in front. Emirates GBR sits in second, and North Star Canada tucks into third.
Stand by.
I've seen that left turn be pretty strong in the previous fleet races, so it'll be interesting to see if they all want that left turn or if someone's happy to split away and take a bit more of a gamble.
You've got to think, if you're in an Australian boat, you're going to take it. You've got to think Emirates GBR will follow, and you've got to think North Star will split and try and find more space. I imagine North Star are going to struggle to get down to it from where they are on the track, so expect a split down here. But the Bonds Flying Roos, they've not been out front all event. We look up in the Oracle Cloud, they're not going badly there, are they? 40 miles an hour, 65 kilometres an hour. They've got a boat speed advantage as they head into Gate 2.
So as they approach the DP World Gate, gate number 2, it is the Bonds Flying Roos out in front. Emirates GBR sits in second as they spin it around in front of the fans on Governor's Island.
Wow, Emirates GBR's poker face was pretty good there. He split at the last moment. It was too late for the Bonds Flying Roos to be able to cover that off. We've got a split. Now it's about where is there more wind on the racetrack. Has Dylan Fletcher seen that little bit more wind that's going to send them up the racecourse faster?
Your heel. Stand by. Down.
There we go, the wind speed's pretty similar, but there's more wind on the Australians, so more wind should mean advantage Slingsby.
We'll get one in them, but
pretty big split across the course here, isn't it, Stevie? Those boats cannot control what's happening on the other side of the course. They know that they're going to have to sail as fast as possible and at the best angle to try and give themselves the best chance.
I think what they know is on that first manoeuvre out of a bottom gate, if you go as wide as possible, you then open up the course tactically later on. So you're like, okay, I'm rolling the dice a little bit here, but that's going to give me a chance to control things further on. This is a big moment. Does Slingsby turn in front of Emirates GBR, try and shut the door, or does he think he's going to find more wind wider?
Go here, stand by.
He's let the door open for the British here. Oh, that's a big moment. It's all going to depend on if they can make the next gate.
Nice angle.
I was surprised there, Hannah. I thought Slingsby might have tried to shut the door on Emirates GBR then.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange position to manoeuvre there. I mean, I wonder if they... Yeah, so they are quite far, kind of up the course. They will be able to make that right turn, but to me, they've gone too far.
Emirates GBR look like they're going to make it as well, so Slingsby could have turned sooner, could have shut the door maybe on the British there. Fletcher's found a way through.
So here we go. It's Emirates GBR. They will opt for that right-hand side. The Bonds Flying Roos yield first place to the Brits. So it's Emirates GBR in first. The Bonds Flying Roos of Australia in second. And here comes North Star Canada. It looks like they are going to split the course.
They are, but they've got really slow. They've fallen off the foil, so they're losing a lot of distance here, the Canadian boat. The race for the win here is between Australia and Great Britain. We've said that a few times before, but on that upwind leg, I'm not sure if it was more wind. I think it was just that the British managed to minimise manoeuvres. They got all the way to the boundary early, got to the next gate with no more manoeuvres, and that's turned into a 50, 60 metre lead.
Wow, you talk about what Lisa said. It's kind of patchy out there. The Canadians, sailed into a pocket of no wind. Now it's picking back up as they are approaching 60 kilometers an hour. But look at the loss, 200 meters to the Bonds Flying Roos, and it is Emirates GBR with about an 80-meter lead.
Yeah, I think for North Star, it was going to rely on something unthinkable between those first two boats, really, to get themselves back in it. Fletcher made a gain by going right at the bottom last time. What does he do here? Looks like he's going to have to go left.
Copy black. And 2 on board.
What do you reckon, Hannah? Right turn for Australia?
Well, they're going to have to do 2 manoeuvres to get down there, but it's a long way to that left turn from where they are now.
2, 1.
Yeah, it's a complex manoeuvre, but they've done a lot of time in the boats, the Bonds Flying Roos. They're the team that can execute that. Beautifully done. Maybe a slight gain to the Australians on that downwind, but now it's all about, is it a gain to Australia? That's where the British made a gain last time, so Australia's going back to the favoured sides of the course. Can they make it work for them?
So, Stevie, strategically, the Bonds Flying Roos and Tom Slingsby do what Dylan Fletcher did and stretch this thing all the way out to the boundary.
I think he's got to try and get there in one, and then he'll assess how he's coming back together with the British.
Here we go.
He's ahead, he'll sail a normal angle. If he thinks he's behind, he'll aim at them, he'll go fast. He'll try and give them that same difficult decision. There you go, Tash Bryant. She says we've got to go behind. Right of way, Emirates GBR.
It's a gain to them on the left-hand side there, isn't it?
Oh, big gain, but I don't know with this dip that they're having to do whether they'll be able to make it to the top gate now. I think they'll have to do another manoeuvre. Emirates GBR will do one more manoeuvre to get there.
Dylan Fletcher not making it easy for Tom Slingsby, and Slingsby turns back into it. So look at the speeds on top of the mats. It's 50 for Emirates GBR, 44 right now for the Bonds Flying Roos. And what's interesting about this, Stevie, the last time Emirates GBR won an event, you have to go back to event 1 that started the season in Perth. They haven't won since then. Meanwhile, the Bonds Flying Roos are trying to make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean, the Bonds Flying Roos have been almost unplayable, haven't they? But we knew Fletcher would be back. He's got that kind of quality, but they'll be desperate to take a wind here. Looks like a big angle change. Look at that big wind shift on the Australians. They're sailing nearly straight up the ladders. That's going to be making big gains, but they're going to be going slower for doing it.
It's going to get softer at the top. Yeah, it's going to keep working the high groove.
Ian Jensen there. It's going to get softer. It's going to get less wind. Less wind means it's less easy to make that gain.
Let's go down on the water. Lisa Darman on leg 5 of 7. Did the Bonds Flying Roos make the right call?
Okay, Mark's moving.
Oh, it's so hard. I think it was tough that they had to do that evasive manoeuvre and avoid the British. The British, they're coming in so fast at the moment, so even if the Australians make this turn, the British, they could slingshot around, but oh, it actually looks like the Aussies might do it here.
You can hear the happiness in that voice there.
Exactly.
I think what was incredible there, they got under 30 kilometres an hour, but Jason Waterhouse managed to keep it on the foil, so the rebuild's not been too much. Advantage Australia.
But here we go, both of them almost identical on speed as they will make their way down as they have cleared gate 5. Dylan Fletcher, the first one to turn away, trying to send disturbed wind the way of the Bonds Flying Roos. Meanwhile, Canada out the back, and this is a battle for first and second. This is a battle for supremacy in SailGP Season 6.
It's a better manoeuvre by the British.
I want to stop him from
Again, he's going to try and get onto the wind of the Australians. If he can move forward a little bit, he'll put disturbed wind onto that Australian boat. Less wind means less speed, but right now, just clearing the wind ahead. The wind's coming from slightly in front of the British boat here as they're going so fast downwind. Australia, he's losing out, but he's got control tactically. The British cannot maneuver from there.
How about this? We come down to the penultimate leg, leg 6 of 7, and it's man on man. It's Australia versus Great Britain. These are the two heavyweights in season 6. Can Tom Slingsby get it done? It's going to come down to this last maneuver.
Oh, Ainsley knows it's difficult for Dylan from here. The Australians tactically got perfect control. Slingsby, wow, he was brave. He's not allowed to do that. That'll be a protest. He's forced the issue there. Surely that's a foul by Emirates GBR. It's going to go to the umpires, but it's first up on the foils, the Bonds Flying Rouge. They've got the rights on the inside. Emirates must give them space. They're overlapped. The Australians have got to keep clear. Oh, this is going to go to the umpires.
Oh, my.
This is all about how Craig Mitchell saw those two incidents.
And the Emirates winning moment for the time being goes the way of the Bonds Flying Rouge. They make it 3 for 3.
I've just heard from Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell, no penalty on either.
Oh, my word.
Wow. We often talk about the racing rules getting into the grey. That was really tight racing. Brilliant action here in New York. What a finish.
Awesome today, mate.
Tightest finish we've seen all year long, and in the end, it is the Bonds Flying Rouge that reigns supreme in New York City.
Break the New York curse.
We are now down to 10 with New Zealand and Switzerland out of the game, joining Spain on the sideline. So, Hannah, this is going to give everyone a lot more room. We've got 10 boats now in the box. This is like old school going back to season 4.
Yeah, and suddenly there's so much more space on the course. Just take a few boats out and there's a little bit more breathing space, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be tight. They're all sailing to the back of the start box now, looking to line themselves up to hit the line with speed at start time.
Yeah, I think the trouble is, Todd, when you're at this standard, everyone knows the favoured place to be.
Right.
So it's still going to be busy. You know, there's just maybe a bit more opportunity, but if you're going to go for a bit more opportunity, you'll be in less space.
I got to think, Stevie, that Nathan Outridge and Sweden Artemis Racing are going to want to bounce back in a big-time way. We saw them in practice racing yesterday. Looked so good. They got a 9th in race number 1.
Yeah, we're on board here with the Swiss. You can see, I think they're going to grow into the season. Nathan's not raced in this kind of busy environment for a long time. He might be the wind whisperer. He might have done it all before, but he's got a lot of practice and sharpening up to do. Emirates GBR, they look well placed. Once again, left-hand side of screen, coming in like a missile, is that DS French team. They're looking fast, but I don't see a gap for them. It's all about the acceleration now. The All-Star Canada look good. Germany thread the needle. France do find a gap. De La Pierre comes through like a rocket. What a start by the French. The Rolex pole predictor sits on top of the Canadians, but I don't think they'll be able to go fast enough in these choppy conditions from here.
Okay, don't overlap. Okay, we are leading, boys.
And the race is on to mark number 1. Quentin de la Pierre and DS Team France say we are leading, but he's got Germany Deutsche Bank on his right-hand side.
He owns the mark there, so he's got good space. Emirates GBR right in the pack. They look fast into there. They'll be happy to be 3rd at the fast mark, but look at the French. Perfect again. Great chance to extend.
Here we go. 5 delay. Okay.
Plenty of space in this first downwind leg. They're all pushing to that boundary to see if they can get to the left turn without only one manoeuvre. A couple of boats have peeled out early, and it'll be interesting to see how they come back when they have right of way as well.
Yeah, I think interesting that. I mean, Slingsby talked about how good their acceleration on the start of the first race was. It wasn't good in that one.
No, not at all.
They're out the back here, and they've got a lot of. We're going to find out how fast the Bomb Flying Rouge are. Now they're in the pack. What can they do here? Artemis sitting 3rd, Germany 2nd, and France leading. Emirates GBR might be able to make. If Emirates GBR can make it to that left turn with no more manoeuvres, chance for a gain for the Brits.
Actually coming back in 2.
A couple, good gust.
There you go. Dylan's talking about an eagle. That means dropping another board in the water to go to 4 foils in, glide in. They will be slow, but tactically they've got a bit of control here over the Germans. And I suspect Artemis might go for one more manoeuvre and look to lead the fleet away that way.
Angle, got big skin there.
At gate number 2, the DP World Gate, it is DS Team France in the lead. Emirates GBR cut onto the inside, and they push Germany, Deutsche Bank to the outside, and they decide to flip the course and go to the other side quickly.
Yeah, well, they had the right of way as they turned the mark, but then Germany were going to get the right of way immediately afterwards. Germany turn. Artemis need to respond. Top of our screen. Quick manoeuvre there by Artemis. I think they kept clear. United States have done a good rounding at the bottom, and North Star Canada got slow. Place changes are happening all the way through the fleet, and it's still the bomb flying ruse intent.
Nice roll up, mate. Target's 54.
Good manoeuvre there. Artemis went into that behind Germany and Great Britain, and they show in second. Some of the old reactions coming back on board that Swiss boat.
Artemis racing Sweden with Nathan Outridge at the wheel. Chris Draper, you saw him earlier, really looking, he went a couple rounds with Mike Tyson as he took that hard fall, the facial injury during practice. But it is the French out in front, Sweden in second, Germany, Deutsche Bank in third.
I'm not even sure Mike Tyson could hit like that. Net hit Chris's face. That was a really scary incident, but great to hear him back out on the boat, and the Artemis team right in this race. Bit of clear wind, bit of a chance to see how good they could be.
3, 2, 1.
See the fleet really compressed at the bottom of that course. Whether you turn left or right, it's really not long before you have to do your next manoeuvre. The course opens up a little bit at the top, so they should get a bit more chance to get a bit of space on the course.
Yeah, talking of space on the course, we get down to Lisa. You got Florian with you on the water down there. Lisa, how hard is it in these choppier conditions, Florian, with to tail the boat at full speed?
Hey there, everyone. Yeah, it's absolutely not as easy as in the flat sea state. It's true that today is not the worst day we've seen. Worst sea state on training days. But yeah, it's definitely the situation between Switzerland and the Kiwis in the previous races is probably not easier by the sea state. So it's harder to avoid boats, and down that bottom gate is especially tricky.
Florian, good to have you with us. Lisa, as you look at this course and what you saw in race number 1, where is the favored side? Where do you think a lot of these drivers are going to be heading?
Well, it seems like left turn both at the top and the bottom is the way to go, but really what we've seen is if you can get out in space, you can sail the mode that you want, especially when you're in the waves. You want to be able to sail your mode, but it's getting pretty condensed at this gate with the mid-fleet.
So it's Nathan Outridge and the Swedes coming in as everyone is trying to track down Quentin Delapierre and DS Team France. They have checked out here in race number 2 with a huge lead, but we got a good battle going on for second and third between the Swedes and Emirates GBR, the defending champions.
Yeah, I mean, it's so tight. Look how tight it is in the middle of the pack there. Lovely opportunist move there by the United States, diving through the inside, set up the slingshot round there. But we've got North Star Canada, we've got Rockwool Denmark, we've got Australia in the back three. I think the 2025 season is going to be decided by how can you find any consistency in what is ordered chaos.
And in a team that normally does really well in lighter breeze, Hannah, I got to be impressed with Taylor Canfield and the Americans, the way they're sailing in these first 2 races.
Yeah, they look like they're doing a really nice job on board. You can hear the comms are really nice and calm as well, which makes such a big difference. When you're in the pack, it's really easy to lose your head a little bit and be kind of distracted by some of the other boats. They're going to really need to keep their cool to stay at the front of the fleet.
Look at those speeds, over 70 kilometers an hour. There you see the French. They've made the turn at the gate already, and the battle for second and third is on. It's the Swedes and the Brits as they come up to the next gate.
Yeah, the British just managed to sail a bit less distance than the Swedes. United States have done the same thing, manoeuvred a fraction of a second before the Germans, but they've now set themselves up for another place gain. So 2 places gained by just good, accurate minimising of the distance from the United States on the last leg there.
It looks like they can get a little bit further up that boundary with the wind direction at the moment, so they're not having to manoeuvre so quickly out of that mark.
Australia.
There we go.
And hold. My rake. 58 said Dill.
Oh, that shows how busy it is in and out of these gates. You've got boats going upwind, the Great British team there going up into the wind, coming downwind still, Bond's Flying Ruse. Gained a couple of places, but it shows you if you're not out in front at the beginning of the race, doesn't matter how good you are, it's so hard to work back through the fleet.
So the winners of race number 1, the Bond's Flying Ruse with Tom Slingsby, they are in salvage mode right now, trying to pick up a few more spots. If they can finish in the top 5, Hannah, that would be huge for them. But right now, I don't see anyone catching DS Team France. They have sailed so nicely, but Emirates GBR doing a great job of keeping them within eye shot.
Yeah, and I think one of the differences between the good teams and the great teams is that when some of the best teams get out in front, they just extend and extend. Actually, I think the French, they've done a good job, but they haven't managed to extend that lead, so that Emirates GBR and Artemis are going to be hot on their heels.
tight, but this French team, given that they've had a crew change, so, you know, there's a chemistry to find between Lee and Contan, and there's more than a chemistry, there's a language as well, so it adds another little layer of flavour to it. Right of way with Artemis in the middle of our screen there, so they will be clear ahead of the British. But yeah, the French look locked in, the platform looks stable. When you're watching the boat, does the boat look like it stays quite stable, or is it wobbling around subtly? The better teams, they just look locked in, the boat looks so stable, and the Swiss, well, they're already not doing a bad job, are they?
As they approach gate number 5, it'll be the French that'll be the first ones through it. Emirates GBR currently slotted in 3rd place and 2nd to Artemis Racing. We go back down to the water, Lisa Darman and Florian Triddle. And Florian, 2-part question for you and Lisa. How is it sailing in these conditions when the sea stake is all over the place and keeping these boats, as Stevie said, very flat and level?
Yeah, it is definitely a tricky thing to do, and we see the teams there trying to adapt as well to that 24-meter wing. Now we've been training all these days on the smaller wings, and as wing trimmers and generally as a team, we have to adapt and yeah, quickly be better than the others. And yeah, it's not easy, but it's still glamour conditions out here today.
Place changed by the British there, Todd. They managed to get out of phase on that upwind, found a favourable wind shift, cut the corner on the Artemis team there, so the Swedish team lose a place. But again, the British, you know, not quite as smooth as they were. There you go. Dylan's happy to protest the Australians. It'll be a very, very small penalty, even if it was, but he's right. He's got the right of way. Bond's flying roos have got to keep clear. For what it's worth, I think they did, Hannah.
Nice, good angle there.
Artemis here, big gain from the right turn at the top at the moment. They have the right of way over the Brits, but they look like they're going really straight down the course on board Artemis. They found they lost on a wind shift, but they've sailed back into the wind shift that the British were sailing in. So good work. They've given up a bit of distance at the top of the leg to hopefully gain at the bottom.
This will be a nice bounce back for Artemis Racing Sweden, as Nathan Outeridge is going to bounce back from a 9th to at least a 2nd or 3rd as they make the final turn at the bottom of the course. It will be the French out in front. DS Automobiles, Team France with Quentin Delapierre at the wheel. They finished in 2nd place in race number 1. They come back in race number 2 here in Perth, and they claim the win, and that is your Emirates winning moment.
A really solid race for the French there. They look pretty solid on board there, and what a race for Artemis. 2nd race in SailGP, 2nd.
And it'll be Emirates GBR that comes across in 3rd. So those teams doing quite nicely. Emirates GBR got a 5th in race number 1. They come back with a 3rd, but the big winners, Sweden's Artemis Racing, they go from 9th to 2nd place. Remember, it's all about the points, Stevie, and accumulating those points for Super Sunday. And the Americans with a great showing as well, as US SailGP finished in 3rd. They'll come back with a nice performance here in 4th.
Yeah, really tight there. Italy have got to keep clear. They've got to give room to Mubadala Brazil, but Italy should be fast around the outside, and they'll gain the right of way right away now. Yeah, comfy for Red Bull Italy around that mark, no problem at all there. But you can just see as soon as you fall off the foils, look at the speed difference.
Good recovery there.
So Red Bull Italy with Phil Robertson at the helm. They will finish in 5th place as Mubadala Brazil and Martini Grail. They're going to try to hold on for 6th. They've got the line, and they are able to hold off Eric Kostgarten-Heil and Germany Deutsche Bank, who will finish in 7th. So race number 2, all but done and dusted. We've got a 3rd and a 4th race coming your way from Perth. Still got to bring home some teams. Hannah, I guess this would be a salvage mode. They were in 10th place. They come back, they pick 2 more spots up. The winners of race number 1, the Bonds Flying Roos.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't be happy with that. It's always great to climb up the leaderboard, but they're going to have to pick up a few more places. You can see how critical the start is. They led from the moment of the start in the first race, but it is on a course like this where there is a little bit more space, really hard to catch up because the fleet does spread out a little bit more. So they're going to have to make sure that they're really hitting that start line with speed for the next race.
Yeah, as soon as you're not leading at Mark 1, it's other people making your decisions for you in a lot of ways. You lose that first choice. I mean, North Star Canada, classic example. They're, you know, a bit out of phase, and then suddenly you start losing distance, losing places. So for North Star Canada and Rottwell Denmark, they're going to be pretty disappointed here because consistency is what's going to count if you want to make these finals.
Denmark finished in 6th in race number 1. They finished 10th here, so they do pick up 1 point. Canada was 4th. and then they come back with a nice. So still picking up points. That's the most important thing as they continue to build. If you're just joining us, Spain unable to get to the start line because of damage yesterday, and a collision in race number 1 has eliminated the Black Foils of New Zealand and Switzerland. 11 teams now out on the water. Remember, New Zealand unable to go because of the incident they had earlier this year, and now we just heard from Lisa down on the water that Sweden will not be able to participate today as they have craned out, and they will try to fix that and be ready for tomorrow on Super Sunday. So 1 minute to go. Hannah, where do you want to be as you look at the winds out here? It's going to be very tricky.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, but it's a great day for racing out in the Great Sound in Bermuda. I think the boats are going to be lining up, learning a little bit about the race course in this first race, but they've got to prioritize that start and try and get to Mark 1 as fast as possible.
All right, Stevie, this is the dance, the calm before the storm. You want to get a great start here on race number 1. It's all about accumulating points. 4 races today, and we now approach 30 seconds to go before the start of the first race.
Yeah, on board Mubadala Brazil here as they come in towards the start line. Well positioned at the moment. They look like they're towards the downwind end of the line. They're actually in the middle of the fleet there. We see the Brazilian boat. Emirates GBR a little bit back. As of France, they're going to look to wind it up. Top of the line, the Rolex Pole Predictor sits on board Canada. If they get their timing right here, they could really have some speed to Mark 1. Midline, Rockwell, Denmark. Bottom of the line, Germany. They're going to line things up. We're looking for the line to turn white and find out which team's going to nail this first start here in Bermuda. United States out of the top of the line. What a start by Canfield, but he's going to have to be brave on this first leg to Mark 1 if they want to lead. Can they roll around the top of Rockwell, Denmark?
We just, the boy, press. Turn up, you'll be clear ahead.
And as they approach mark number 1, they go 3 wide with Lady Liberty out in front. The Americans will get the whole shot in race 1.
Oh, North Star as well and Rockwell, Denmark. Two of the teams that need a huge event here in Bermuda. Great start by the United States. Canfield, he's been the starting king this season and he nailed that start. North Star head towards the boundary. They'll be looking to line things up. Gate 2's going to come pretty quick in these conditions, Todd, but it's going to be about executing perfect manoeuvres. These are easy conditions to sail the F50, but you've got to push the boats to the edge if you want to be fast enough here.
So, Hannah, does that dispel the rumor that Taylor Canfield and the U.S. are just light wind specialists?
Yeah, I think they've got a little bit to prove this weekend to make sure that that's not the case, but a really great start from them. And like Stevie said, the execution this weekend needs to be really high. Relatively easy conditions to sail the boat, so they've got to be 100%.
Leg 2 of 7. It's the USA, North Star Canada, then Rockwell, Denmark, Germany, Deutsche Bank. The Australians, the winners of the last event, currently sit in 5th, and the defending champions from last year, Emirates GBR, are in 6th.
We're going to learn a lot about the course on this first upwind leg. Imagine the USA are going to want to go straight if they can. Yeah, they keep it simple. We'll see the first boats to split away. North Star, good call to follow there. Try and keep some space. It'll be Germany, Deutsche Bank, the first boat to turn right. Find out where more windmills on the course, I'd imagine, after that. But there's a lot of teams that need a good result or in that first 4 boats there. Canadian fans, well, it's been a long time since they've seen the front of the fleet. They'll be loving that.
Stevie, is this a course where there's passing opportunities? We talk about that a lot. Some courses, if you don't get the lead at the start, you got no shot.
Yeah, I mean, this is an awesome course, Todd. It's a little bit bigger. You can really stretch your legs. You can get some boat speed. Hannah's going to be able to sort of really give us an idea of the speeds and the setups of the boat out there. And I think what we saw in practice yesterday is there are some shifts. You see the darker patches on the water. I mean, it's Bermuda, isn't it? So it looks like it's all turquoise and perfect. But occasionally, when the camera angle comes right, you see the darker patch on the water and the boats can find the wind. And right at the minute, Hannah, it looks like there's more breeze out where the Canadians are.
Yeah, it does, definitely on that right-hand side of the course, top of the screen. But I think it looked like the Germans had to stretch quite a long way to make that right turn.
Penalty GBR, port tack boat not keeping clear, go behind Spain.
Emirates GBR made an early maneuver on this upwind leg, and so now they get a penalty, have to drop behind Los Gallos, Spain, and they did not need that as they will drop back now into 6th place. Let's go down on the water, Lisa Darman. And Lisa, you had a chance to be out on the water yesterday. Where is the favorite part of this course, and do you like where the Americans are sailing?
At down speed.
Yeah, where the Americans are sailing, they're just coming. in front of them there's an island, and the wind is funneling around the island, but they're on the good side of the island at the moment, where the wind is able to sort of pump through. So they're really nicely lined up for this gate. But you know, one thing out here, everyone's sailing the F50s to the full potential, not making that many mistakes. So if you're out in front, it is just so much easier. So amazing to see the Americans just absolutely commanding this race.
Stevie, is this what you call glamour racing?
That's what you call pretty much perfect, don't you, Todd? I think what's interesting so far is all the boats that can towards the front of the fleet have really stretched wide to the boundary early on, and that means as they get towards the top of the course, they're closer to the land, the wind will be a little bit shiftier.
Very puffy right now, just watch the can, very puffy.
There you go, Tom Johnson doing it for me there. Very puffy, just means it's changing direction and pressure quite a lot as they get near the line. Germany here, Germany Deutsche Bank have done a nice job. They've gained slight miss in that manoeuvre there by the US. Nothing too disastrous, but you see that white plume of water. They touched down, got a little slow, but they're going to wind the speed up here. So Germany Deutsche Bank kept out of phase with the leaders. They're up to second. They've passed North Star.
And at gate 3, it is still the US SailGP team. Germany Deutsche Bank has now moved in second place. The Australians have dropped back a little bit as they will split the course. North Star Canada, good position, as is Rockwell, Denmark.
Todd, I love where the Australians are going, though. You split the course, you get out of phase. I feel like the Germans were out of phase on that upwind, Hannah, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and it didn't look like initially it was going to work, but I think, like you say, getting out of phase, having the space to sail the boat really nicely can pay massive dividends in these conditions.
Yeah, just I threw in the word phase around there. I think ultimately what we're talking about is if some of the boats are going right to left, you're going left to right. You're sort of opposite to them. The wind is varying out here, but what's key is you can push the boat to the absolute limit. They say, Todd, if you're not right on the edge, you're taking up too much space, and you've got to be on the edge today.
Stevie, let's talk about where Germany Deutsche Bank is right now. How much disturbed air are they getting right now, and do you think they're already talking about splitting the course and going away from where the Americans go at this next gate?
Yeah, I think right now they'll be just, well, as they drop down to their line, they might be getting a little bit of disturbed wind. They'll be getting more and more as they come down. They're in a big gust of wind. You see that dark patch there they're in right now, so they're actually going pretty quick. They'll decide what, depending on what US do. If US goes straight, I imagine Germany might do a right turn and look to find some space.
Turning up.
Oh, they're going to follow them.
They do follow. There you go. Keep it simple, stupid. That was the answer to that one. I guess early on in the race, they obviously like what they see with the left turn. They're going to follow. They'll be happy to take a second.
And Hannah, if you're the Americans, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But this is the same course they took to open things up. They're going the same path. They must like what they're seeing as far as the numbers go on that side of the course.
Yeah, and I think this weekend's going to be a little bit about really minimising maneuvers, mapping your way around the course. We can see on the screen now there's a different colour of arrows. So that yellow arrows means there's slightly more wind than the kind of greeny, bluey colours. So it gives us an indication of how much pressure is on the course where the boats are.
Pressing.
On board the Bonds flying ruse, a tense moment there as Spain has to dip behind to avoid that collision, and the Australians are back in 7th place with Los Gallos in 6th.
Spain, behind.
They'll get a penalty, the Australians there. Spain have kept clear of Rockwell, Denmark for me on that incident. But yeah, Australia tacked. They turned the boat onto port. We see this here. Spain are coming around the mark. There go the Bonds flying ruse on our replay, bottom right-hand corner. And you see the dramatic change of direction. Now, sometimes we call that Hollywood overacting, but I don't think there was too much acting from Diego there.
Your boat here?
So back to live racing action. Race number 1, we are scheduled for 4 today. This is like 5 of 7. It's the USA just under 100-meter lead over Germany Deutsche Bank, North Star Canada. Their driver, Giles Scott, Olympic gold medalist, currently sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, and I think the teams will be looking to set up a left turn at the top if they can. That should mean they get an easy downwind angle. Americans will be happy. We're talking about phasing. Right now they're in the same phase. They're both going the same direction. Emirates GBR, they're finding a bit of space, but this late in the race, you've got to love the US position, Anne.
Yeah, definitely. And I think last time they actually made a bit of a mistake in that they really slowed the boat down to try and make that right turn. This time they want to commit to that left so they can just sail fast, but some unforced errors coming on board the US team there.
Tell the Rolex chase time right around 6 seconds as they make this maneuver. This will be the final one before gate number 5. USA SailGP team currently 3rd overall in the standings, and they have the lead here in the first race of the day.
Yeah, North Star are coming in here. They're going to be well set, but they've got to get just across in front of Germany. I don't think North Star will do it. Tricky tactical moment for them. They'll look to go right at the top. Beautifully judged by Giles Scott on the team there. They're going to split away. They will come back towards the German team with the right of way, but more manoeuvres to be done by Canada on this downwind leg.
Look at the speed of the Americans. They were sitting at 35 kilometers an hour just moments ago. They catch that wind as they go through the gate, and now they're over 70.
Just keep an eye on it if it's coming upwind.
Last downwind leg towards the turning mark before the finish here. You can see Andrew Campbell, right-hand side of our screen. He's looking at where the course is there, trying to keep an eye on things. Set up for the manoeuvre. Now, you've got to just nail this manoeuvre, Taylor, and this is the race win coming in here.
And turning. And yours, fine. How fast? Yeah, let's get going. Yeah, nice.
Interesting to see how North Star Canada comes back across here. They've manoeuvred a little bit earlier, so they must have got to that boundary a little bit quicker, but they're coming back in quite nice pressure from the top of the screen there.
Yeah, they have the right of way here as well. They've got, look, top of the mast there, 75 kilometers an hour versus 70 on Germany. So they've got a fast mode on North Star. They're wound up. They will have an extra maneuver to do. Good shift, good pressure for North Star. Chance for an overtake.
Happy to slowly roll down as you need. Mark is up 45. Copy.
Here we go. Canada have got to nail this if they've got to stay ahead. They have the right of way now. And
here we go.
Oh, he's putting the pressure. Germany, you've got to keep clear. You've got to keep clear, Germany. Surely too little too late by Germany. Deutsche Bank. Aggressive manoeuvring by Giles Scott on board the Canadian boat. Classic match race manoeuvre.
Good job.
And race number one, tense moments at the end here, the great sound, but the first race of the day here at the Apex Group Bermuda Sail Grand Prix goes the way of the Stars and Stripes. USA SailGP win the first race here on day one.
How are we going to get out of
Okay,
here?
now I think rules-wise, North Star Canada will have got the right of way there, but because it's a lead change penalty, the penalty would have gone on and off instantly, so that's why we haven't seen it go up there. We haven't heard anything from the umpires, but I think that's because the penalty just goes on and off. Great work by Giles Scott, aggressive.
So Germany will have to settle for third place. Fourth will go to Los Gallos, Spain. Red Bull, Italy in a tight one right now with Emirates GBR. And look at this, Dylan Fletcher pushing Phil Roberts and the Italians wide as Emirates GBR will pick up fifth.
Todd, points matter so much. Single points when we get to the end of the qualification series tomorrow. Absolutely crucial, and that one place for Emirates GBR could be massive. Spain as well. They work their way all the way back up to fourth. Simple, excellent execution.
That's all we could have done there. We sailed clean.
So the Swiss will settle for 10th place. Remember, we are down to 11 boats with the retirement of Artemis, and of course, the Black Foils unable to go because their boat's still under repair.
Left turn. Gonna tack around the mark.
Yeah, the Swiss
Turning
boat.
here.
Bit of new livery on there. Sponsored by Explorer there on the wing sail for the Swiss team. Good to see, but they'll be looking for a bit of a change in results, unfortunately.
Happy to take it down here. Happy to take it down.
And Martini Grail and Brazil come across the line. So race number one is now complete. And we are 1 minute away from the start of the final here at the Enel Rio Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. A picture-perfect day with an iconic setting. Sugarloaf Mountain in the background, and the three best teams on the weekend. The Bons Flying Roos, Los Gallos of Spain, and Artemis set to do battle.
41 seconds to go, and we can see Artemis are already winding it up at the top end there, all off to the right-hand side of our screen. They have all got a big run up, but they're going to be needing to get the acceleration right. I think Australia could almost be late already. They're going to need a perfect manoeuvre and a quick up on the foils. Artemis look like they will be inside. Middle of the screen's the line. Middle of the start line is the favoured place to be. Look how gusty it is under Sugarloaf as Slingsby starts to line it up. He's looking fast on board the Bons Flying Roos. The Rolex pole predictor sits on board that Australian boat. Spain have space. Outeridge and Slingsby are fighting. The line's going to go white when we're ready to race. Oh, he lines it up. How's your timing, Nathan Outeridge? Wobble on board the Spanish boat at the top of the line. Artemis got slow, and it's the Bons Flying Roos will lead at Mark 1.
And here comes Spain on the outside. They've got speed, almost dead even across the line as they approach mark number 1. It's NASCAR on water here in Brazil.
Yeah, could be crucial. The Bons Flying Roos catch the windward hull if Artemis can overlap. No, they're not. He's bailing out there. Outeridge doesn't think he can dive inside. The Bons Flying Roos, they're going to get first pick at this race course.
Yeah, definitely got off the line well, but it feels like there's going to be a lot in this race, doesn't it? One thing's for sure, there'll be plenty of opportunities. So, no, we'll just have to, I'm sure Spain will just be keeping it tight and keeping it back.
Yeah, on the day that is the final round of the Masters, I can't help but think that there is a lot of golf left in this hole in terms of this race course. It's really, really tricky out there.
Angle there. Okay, reloading here.
So first to maneuver, the Bons Flying Ruse and Artemis. They go 1 and 2. Keep your eye on Los Gallos, Spain. They currently sit in 3rd place, opting to carry this one a little farther out. As we look at the conditions, Stevie, you see pressure all across this course, but as we've seen in the prior 3 races, there are holes out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunity. I think we'll hear from Tom Slingsby what's the distance he's hoping to find at the bottom of the course. I think a move back to the right turn does put you in good wind. The left-hand side of our screen has historically been the place to go. Slingsby says there's good pressure left.
It's a Raven. Yep.
Tricky decision right now. You've got the pick of it.
Left turn.
Left turn. I think if you're not certain of anything, he's going to sail into that big gust of wind. You don't do another manoeuvre, so you guarantee not losing a certain amount of meterage.
Really good gust
Keep
here.
it simple. It's definitely the way to play. You know, if you think everything's even, you think you're going to good pressure, you might as well keep going straight. But yeah,
Look at this.
Banish have taken on the other side.
They're up on the inside of us.
So it's the Australians and Artemis 1 and 2, and Diego Botin's going to roll the dice here. Pete, you like this call?
Well, I think he takes a bit of a loss initially to do it. So, yeah, it'll have to be interesting to see how much it pays out. But yeah, traditionally today, that left-hand side on the upwind's really been gaining a lot. So I think he has to do something, right?
It's worth a roll of the dice, I think, for me here, really. And like you say, on average, it's been good that way. I think the interesting thing will be, can the boats that have headed off on that side, Australia are up and foiling, so they've stayed in breeze. Artemis are in very good breeze on that right-hand side of our course there. Look at this. Sweden, they've got the most wind on the racetrack right now, so potentially the wind coming the other side of Sugarloaf here, Han.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the angle difference between the 2 boats. Bons Flying Ruse just coming up and turning to the right a little bit there, but I think the Spanish may have made a little bit of a gain, probably not enough to change the... Oh, I don't know, actually. They're looking like they're going bow forwards there just a little bit as they approach that left-hand boundary.
Yeah, it looks so patchy out there. I don't know if we've got Lisa at the moment, but the breeze looks like it's potentially started to come from the right-hand side of Sugarloaf. So we're going to just see now a gain for Artemis. The Wind Whisperer, he's reading it right at the moment.
So there's the condition right now. There's not much more of a more beautiful setting than this here. The 4th event of the SailGP Season 6, the Enel Rio Sail Grand Prix, and it is all on here in the event final. It is Artemis, it is Australia, and it is Spain as we check in down on the water. Lisa Darmanin, where's the favorable side? Where do you find the pressure?
Oh, the pressure is so high. As you said, there are these little right opportunities coming. We're sitting on the right-hand turn at the moment. There's a big gust, but you know, if you're 50 metres away from another boat, you could be in completely different pressure. So this race is not going to be over till it's over. It is really challenging out here.
It still comes down to the basics as well. Artemis, they had a little bit of a wobble. They almost tried to force the foil. They fell off the foils. There you go. Slingsby didn't make that mistake. What a moment, and it was just come down to handling. Have the Bons Flying Ruse got the ability to stay on the foils here?
Right now, the Bons Flying Ruse put themselves in first position. Looks like Nathan Outridge is going to opt for the other side.
100%. Looks good as well, though, Todd, doesn't it? It's good breeze for Bons Flying Ruse, but the Los Gallos are foiling here, so Artemis are going to potentially get bounced around a bit. Right of way with Los Gallos. Spain will go back that way. They've got to keep rolling the dice. Artemis here, they haven't got the right of way. Diego did the commentary for us. For me, that's an absolute no-brainer foul there. The Artemis crew
This
will
is
have
the umpires.
Yeah.
Penalty Sweden, not giving Mark room, go behind Spain.
Get a shot of the Emirates umpire studio there. Craig Mitchell, the chief umpire, doling out the penalty to Artemis. And that's going to about do them in. And that's great news, Pete, I got to think, for the Bons Flying Ruse and Tom Slingsby.
Yeah, I think that definitely gives the Bons Flying Ruse and Tom and the rest of the crew a good little buffer there, doesn't it? By the time Sweden has to get behind Spain. So no, it's starting to look like a reasonably easy race for them from here. Touch wood.
First time of the weekend that Tom Slingsby and Craig Mitchell have agreed?
Could be, could be.
Well, it doesn't make up for not winning their home event in Sydney, Australia a few weeks ago, where they did not even make the final. They finished in 5th, but this would be a huge win for them. Remember, the Bons Flying Ruse finished on top at event number 2 back in Auckland. That seems a long time ago, but Tom Slingsby getting that team possibly back to their winning ways if they can bring this home.
Is there a case that you can be too far ahead in this condition?
Happy to roll?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, I mean, you know, sometimes you say that where you get like really big lulls and you can get too big of splits, but you know, essentially the course is so short, you're having to go back and forth through the same bit of water, so you can't really generate that much leverage. So, I mean, the further ahead, the easier it's going to be, I think, for me.
We've got a little high motocross here, don't we? Yep. Alright, I'm gonna roll it up. And they all come with us.
There you go, Neil. So I think right now, yeah, it looks like the Spanish have agreed with Peter Burling there, and they've said, let's just make sure we take a second. Think about the whole season. You've got to remember we're racing to Abu Dhabi, aren't we, to that grand final. Every point counts all the way there. So mature sailing, I'd say, from Botín. We heard Ian Jensen, wing trimmer on board Australia. This could be his first win on board that Australian boat. It'll be a massive moment. He's so proud to be back sailing for his home nation. If he can get a win here, I know for Gooby it's going to mean a lot.
Leg 5 of 7, so it's up to the top of the course. They'll turn on the gate, come back down, and then it'll be a quick left-hander to the finish line in front of the crowds there. And a beautiful setting that we've got here at the Nel Rio Sail Grand Prix.
Looks super light with our at the moment, doesn't it? Really just struggling to keep it up on the foil. You know, got right down to 30 kph through that lull, so it's plenty to play for still, to be honest.
For the breeze and the left.
Looks like they're going to sort of make it simple. They're going to head towards that top left-hand corner of our screen. I got a feeling they were trying to sort of sail an angle close to the gate to keep themselves well lined up then with the boats behind. But yeah, it's definitely, there's opportunity out here, but I think the battle potentially now is for second place. It's going to need a big mistake by the Australians for it to go wrong from here.
That's angle.
That's pretty perfect.
I'll tell you what, whatever the pep talk was that Tom Slingsby gave last night, and how many cats they got on board, they are doing something right, because they've got 3 wins in a row looking to make it 4, Stevie, and winning the most important race of the 8.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment it's looking like a perfect scorecard, isn't it? I mean, who would think it's possible to win 4 races on a day like this? I mean, quite incredible, really. But I say, I don't believe he's done anything magic. They've just done the basics really, really well, and that's really, really hard to do on a day like today.
What a beautiful place to sail, eh? Just taking a little look in around the scenery under the Sugarloaf. Yeah, pretty fond memories for a lot of these yachties here in this part of water.
Softer. Hold that angle.
So there it is. Australia makes their way around the gate. They keep it clean. Here comes Spain sitting in second.
Here we go. Pressure now. Straight into a jibe out of this.
Sounds pretty calm. They got wind back again. Oh, panic over for the Bonds Flying Roos.
Right there, rolling down. Your wing. Go hard, Sammy.
Not celebrating just yet on board the Bonds Flying Roos.
No, and it's a short leg though. Right-hand side of there's the mark they're going to, the right-hand side of our screen. So Slingsby's gone pretty nice and wide here, made it fairly safe. Spain and Artemis, they follow. And it's all about getting on the foils for that race per second. But Tom Slingsby and his cat are going to get it done here in Rio.
So 4 races in the 2026 season and 2 victories will go the way of the Bonds Flying Roos. Their new owners, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, and they are just about 200 meters away from closing the deal. What a super Sunday for the Bonds Flying Roos, as they are absolutely perfect. They win races 5, 6, and 7, and when it counts most, they deliver in the event final. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Australians. The Bonds Flying Roos reign supreme in Rio.
Well done, guys.
Huge moment there. It could be a Slingsby Samba in Rio tonight, Todd.
Diego Botín smartly will hold on to second place, as that penalty really was the difference. And Los Gallos, fresh off that new purchase of their team, they finished second, delivering 9 championship points to their account. And Artemis gets into the final, the newest team in SailGP with Nathan Anders. They finish in 3rd. We'll have ourselves a good old-fashioned event final here in New Zealand.
Hey, let's go.
Oh, we saw a bit of a super fan in the crowd there, Todd. That was Lily Draper, Chris Draper's daughter, cheering on the Artemis team out there. They'll be hoping for a result. Artemis need a good result. Right. They're pretty much in a direct battle with Los Gallos to make the final. Emirates GBR will be in the final. Bonds Flying Roos will be in the final, as long as they deliver their boat safely to the finish here. It's Artemis versus Los Gallos in terms of a good result. As we hear Draper, wing trimmer, let's get things going here. We see the Swiss are early back in the boat, and the Spanish are going to control things with Artemis. They're going to have to be careful. That line in the middle of our screen, when that turns white, would go. The favoured position is middle of the line, so it's all about timing here. The teams are late into the box. It's a small box. Can Artemis control Los Gallos? Good manoeuvre here by Artemis. The Swiss, I love the positioning of Seb there. He's got the boat set up well on board Switzerland. Rolex pole predicts on Artemis, but he's going to struggle to accelerate with the US team there. Canfield control things. Line's about to turn white. Who's got it right? Oh, Taylor Canfield, beautiful start by the US SailGP team. Great at the top of the line from the Swiss, and Los Gallos fly over the top of Artemis in the battle to the final.
So we're getting word that Rockwell, Denmark will not be able to race, so now it becomes 5 boats battling out here in the final fleet race, and it is the Stars and Stripes, Lady Liberty flying high as they approach mark number 1.
And stand by.
First tactical opportunity to get a split here. It looks like Canfield likes the breeze for an early manoeuvre. We can see top right-hand side of screen, there's good wind coming down the course. The grandstand really putting a bit of a wind shadow across the course. So all boats manoeuvre on the mark. Fantastic manoeuvre by the US there. Look how smooth they are on board. Australia cut the corner. Slingsby dives inside. He's potentially up to second, but it's tight, tight, tight.
Want to come back out this way.
Coaching team there, Marcus Lynch. He's been the head coach of the team there, done a really nice job on the US team, made some nice improvements, and they're out stretching their legs in the lead. Can they keep it tight through the race? So changeable out here, Hannah, though. There's a lot of golf left in this hole.
Yeah, that's right. And it looks like we've had a bit of a left rotation in the wind direction here. They're sailing not quite as far down the course, which means there's going to be more manoeuvres in this first leg down to gate 2.
And yours, Andrew? Yeah, yours. Fine. No higher, please, I don't think.
Pretty wide on the course. Here we go. Taylor Canfield there, crossing the bow. Pretty smooth. It's light on the course at the moment. As they approach gate 2, you hear them saying it's soft. Course left, so Canfield looks like he wants a right turn at the bottom here. He's seeing wind in the top of our screen, but what are they going to do? Complex manoeuvre coming here, maybe.
And turning up in 3, 2, 1, turning up.
Nice job there. Los Gallos are going to split the course, but they're ahead of Artemis, crucially in that race towards the final here. Lisa, it seems like the breeze has dropped out there.
Yeah, it has dropped out here, but it is kind of coming in and out where I'm seeing under the bridge. It looks like some more winds coming, so I wouldn't panic too much. But as you're seeing, it is really tough out here, and I think trying to adapt to what you've got at the time. And you heard the coaches in the coaching booth are working overtime, but it's also hard because they're communicating so much on the boat. So there's that real balance of knowing what to say, when to say it, and when it's really important.
Agreed.
Tight here. Artemis at the top versus Switzerland. Tight cross right of way. Artemis, I think it's all clear, but it looks to me like a game for a left turn. US had the first choice, but maybe both teams made a gain here, Hannah. This could be crucial for Los Gallos in the race to the final.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you hear the US SailGP team there going all the way to the boundary there. They think that there's better pressure, maybe better shift on that right-hand side, so they're happy to push all the way across past the Spanish, which might open up a bit of leverage for them.
And as it stands right now, guys, it would be the Bons Flying Roos, Emirates GBR, and Los Gallos, Spain that would be going into the event final.
Oh, my maths teacher would be proud of me, Todd. I thought I had that right in the head at the moment, but it's consistently been better breeze at the bottom of our screen, where that is right now. We'd call that the right-hand side of the course. However, look at the wind shift that the Los Gallos have got. They're sailing nearly directly up the ladder lines, progressing towards that next gate very, very quickly right now. They could cut the corner on the US here, but it's all going to come down to the wind at the top.
Spain's going to go right turn.
66 kilometers an hour on Los Gallos there, much slower on the US boat on this right-hand side of the course.
Yeah, I love that. You heard Andrew Campbell there saying Spain are going to go right turn. It's like he thinks he's on board their boat, but he knows Spain have got to do one manoeuvre, and it's easiest to do that. US team, they're going to have the right of way here. Doesn't look like they make left turn. Expect a manoeuvre for the US. Los Gallos have got to either be sure to cross. No, dip behind. Safe. Good call. Oh, my life.
Oh, my goodness.
No, US manoeuvred there. They were blocked in front of Los Gallos. That was all fair. That was just aggressive racing. No surprises there. Two-time World Match Race champion Canfield. He loves this one-on-one tussle, and he's not going to give Los Gallos an inch.
Very close to the boundary here.
So Spain plays it safe. Los Gallos, currently as it stands right now, they would make the event final after this race. They would join the Bons Flying Roos of Australia and Emirates GBR, the reigning and defending SailGP champions.
Great shot that, isn't it? I mean, firstly, look how beautiful the city of Sails looks with a bit of sunshine on it there, but as well as we see the Swiss turning around, there's definitely opportunity on this course for the teams at the back, but you've got to do good manoeuvres. Swiss team turn, got to stay foiling fast.
The big thing that's changed for me, now we're under 30 kilometers an hour of wind. You have to be pushing the boat. As Los Gallos are really pressing across over the US team there, there's a kind of a bit of a barrier where you've got to hold back if it gets breezier, but you've got to be pushing when the wind drops.
Oh, Umpire message there, outside the boundary.
Unforced error.
That is an unforced error, really. They're trying to make the course wide as possible at the top to minimise manoeuvres later on, but when it's this shifty, it's just not worth that risk because you don't know what you're going to get further down. And at the moment, you can see it's a good wind shift, good breeze for Artemis. They look like they're making some gains along with the Swiss, and it's light on the US team. Let's see how this plays out down the course. Last chance saloon for Artemis, though. Leg 4 of 6. Only one more upwind leg to go before the finish, and they've got to look to overtake the Spanish if they want to make the final.
5 more.
So Los Gallos dips behind the Bonds Flying Rouge as Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team have re-emerged in first place. Has not changed the standings as it is right now, with still Australia, GBR, and Spain going into our event final.
Yeah, but for the 2026 season as a whole, these will be crucial points for the US SailGP team. Exactly where they'll finish here, I've got to be honest, I'm not entirely sure. Trying to keep up with the two groups is hard. We know Bonds Flying Rouge are in the final, and we know as it stands, unless Artemis can get past Los Gallos, it will be Los Gallos in the final as well, who will race against Emirates GBR for the title here. But for the US SailGP team, if you can keep these two previous SailGP champions behind you, what a confidence booster that'll be as we head to Sydney.
I want to remind you, coming up February 28th and March 1st, in 2 weeks' time, it'll be the KPMG Sydney Sail Grand Prix. That will be quite a show. But we still got more racing to go here in Auckland, in the city of Sails, and it is US SailGP team with Taylor Canfield now extending their lead to almost 200 meters.
All the way across the course. A little press.
Lisa, it feels like, you know, there's a big change. What's the clouds looking like upwind of us here? Are we expecting a build again before the end of this race?
Faster, just in the putt.
Yeah, so as you can see right now, it's a beautiful day, but there is a big gloomy cloud sitting to the south, which we're expecting to push in. But, you know, right now the breeze has rotated a little bit, but as these clouds come in and out, it'll keep changing, and that really depends on how much wind we have, how gusty it is. I'd say it's not as gusty as it was at the beginning of the day, so a little bit easier for the sailors to navigate.
There we go, nice one, Lisa. We can see big gain here for Los Gallos by stretching wide on the course. Crucial moment coming up. When the two boats come together. Oh no, Spain, it's obviously seen a big wind shift there. If they're going to fall, they're just happy to cement second. Again, pretty mature sailing from the Spanish. I thought they'd push more to where the Bonds Flying Rouge are. Bonds Flying Rouge have got a chance to dive in at the top here. If they're inside the zone for the mark, they'll have right of way. I don't think they will be. It's going to be good news for the US SailGP team. They should be able to bring it home from here.
They may not get to the event final, Stevie and Hannah, but this has got to be great momentum for that team that's struggling to get points, and a nice way to start things off here in event number 2.
It's going to be a big gain, and it's the Aussies that made a gain over Los Gallos here. Shouldn't matter in the race to the final, but again, if we think about this 3-boat final coming up, Slingsby's looking fast out on the water today.
Slow turn, nice guys.
And as they come to the line, the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the US SailGP team as they get the final fleet race win here in Auckland.
Yeah, they said nice race. That was a really nice race. I mean, they best start, sailed solid, no mistakes. They'll be so happy with that as they leave here. Los Gallos, well, they've done a brilliant race after a tricky first event in Perth, and then I was worried for them in the first race today, Hannah, when they couldn't race. Another solid one for Artemis, but I think they're going to walk away from here 4th again. They're not going to want that to become their lucky number.
So Artemis crossing the line just behind Los Gallos, and you sense the frustration on board with Nathan Outteridge, Chris Draper, and their crew. Big dip earlier before the racing started. They damaged their wings, so they are out. So now we've got 5 boats fighting for 2 spots in the finals. We take a look at the Group B leaderboard. It is Artemis out in front. Switzerland sits in second place. But Stevie, you're saying there's a chance for Germany and the US SailGP team.
And unfortunately, I'm only saying there's a chance for the German team. Unfortunately, the Swiss team will get a point in this race as long as they finish. So they only have to finish 5th to definitely be ahead of the US. So it's really a race between Switzerland and Germany, Deutsche Bank, to get to the final. So it'll be interesting whether they start to play with each other. Artemis will be looking to keep that momentum. Phil Robertson needs a good one. So everyone's got a lot to fight for here. There's still season points on the overall up for grabs as we line up to the start. 16 seconds to go. Switzerland have got a lovely bit of space at the top of the line. They've also just got a Rolex pole predictor on the top of their wing. They're lined up beautifully. Massive gap. They've got to drop the hammer. We're looking for the line to turn white, and it's all about the acceleration as Canfield comes in hot.
What's the shift at Mark 1?
Perfect for the US team across the start line. It's a faster angle for the Swiss, and the Germans are out the back. Eric Heil's got a lot of work to do if he's got any hope of making a final here in Halifax.
The Swiss overall.
Canfield says he thinks the Swiss on the faster angle should roll round them. Seb Schneider, when he absolutely needed it, he's got to roll over the top, start to put some disturbed wind and slow down that US boat. Millimetres in it.
And at Mark 1 in race number 4 in Group B, it is Explorer Swiss that gets the whole shot just ahead of the US SailGP team. They are your Rolex sprint leaders, the Swiss, taking control of this race.
Happy margin for me.
Beautiful work there. They've just driven down across the front. They're going to have a faster, lower angle. You see Rebel Italy first to manoeuvre away. Last time they all wanted to turn right at the bottom, so don't expect the Swiss to go too wide. Just try and set themselves up towards that side of the course. US follow. Good news for the Swiss.
Aaron gas here. Coming up slowly here. Yes.
Underestimate how hard it is to sail these boats with just 5 people. With these 27.5 metre wings, there's a maximum crew number of 5 on board, so plenty on for all of the sailors.
Italians with the right of way here, coming back at the other boats. It looks like they've gone a little bit early if they want to turn right at the bottom. Italy could well be slow when we get to gate 2 at the bottom here, which is going to add a little bit of added spice. Oh, Canfield and Robertson, that's the gift that keeps giving, isn't it, as they come in at the bottom here. USA manoeuvres straight in front of Phil Robertson, and Seb Schneider's going to lead at gate 2, Todd.
So here we go, the DP World Gate 2. This is race number 4 for Group B. It is Explorer Swiss out in front, US SailGP in second. Here comes Phil Robertson, Red Bull Italy in third, awfully close quarters. And Nathan Outard says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to split the course. He opts for the other side.
Interesting. I suppose from the Swedish point of view, Artemis are in the final.
Right.
They've just got to, deliver the
Protect
boat
the
round the
asset.
course. We see the wind velocity here, so there's more wind where the Swiss are. We can see that nearly 2 kilometres an hour. That should translate to nearly 4 or 5 kilometres an hour more boat speed, but the Swiss have only just manoeuvred. That's why the number at the top of their wing's lower. They're going to start to build speed.
Stevie, you know I trust that Oracle Cloud, but you know who I trust more? Lisa Darmanin, because she's down in the water. Lisa, what can you tell us, and what do the conditions look like now for the rest of this race?
Yeah, I mean, the conditions are dropping throughout the afternoon compared to maybe the first race. But yeah, exactly where the Swiss were, where the USA are right now, there's just a big puff of pressure. It's definitely a lot lighter on that other side where Artemis has gone. But as you guys were saying, I just think they're trying to stay out of trouble because it's getting really congested in this corner as they sort of get towards that grandstand and have to manoeuvre.
Lisa, if you get close to that grandstand, I mean, how's the vibe down there? The Canadian fans must be thrilled because yesterday it was awfully chilly. Today, it looks balmy.
It is absolutely amazing. When we just watched Canada finish that last race, the crowd was absolutely insane. So big shout out to everyone that's come back and to celebrate and to cheer them on. So really awesome to see them do well. And yeah, it's just amazing for the Halifax fans to see some really epic racing today.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what we've just seen there as well is the fans are potentially adding a bit of extra boat speed to all the teams. It's massive gain for the boats that went into that side. If Artemis are out there learning about the race course, they're learning that the right turn at the bottom, the left turn at the bottom is not a good move, because Artemis have lost a lot of distance here. Not very important for them in the race to the final here. What is important is the German team are catching up with the Swiss, but they're going to need a mistake from the Swiss team if they hope to make the final here.
So Hannah, that is your battle out on water. It is between Germany by Deutsche Bank and Explorer Swiss for that second and final transfer position. And there you see the boat positions. The Swiss came in first, they remain in first, US 2 and 2, and the Germans have moved up as they have dropped the Swedes, Artemis, way back.
The Swiss have manoeuvred in a bad place, Hannah.
Yeah, they have. I think it's interesting because the Swiss have been starting well. They've been sailing really well, and I think that bit of extra space on the course is really helping them.
Germany could... Oh, the German did have the right to dive in there. He's chosen to follow, playing the long game.
Oh, and they spin it.
Yeah, they decided to follow. I think there's definitely more wind for that. I'm a bit surprised the Germans just didn't dive in and try and park everyone up and almost get a restart going on there. Not aggressive from Germany, and they've opened the door for the Swiss to sort of extend away again. But a few little mistakes positioning-wise from the Swiss at the moment.
Their driver, Sebastian Schneider, a 3-time Olympian, 12 national titles. He's at the wheel for Explorer Swiss, having a great race here in Canada. They won their first race. They finished in third in race number 2, and again, finishing fourth in race 3.
Happy to stay low. We have more pressure here.
That's the voice of
Right over the
Alex
lane.
Arafagas there at the back of the Swiss boat.
Okay, so-
Wing trimmer. So he's happy with the breeze they've got, but it's all about how lined up there. It looks to me like the Germans might have cut the corner here because they're sailing really good wind shift down the racetrack, and they could make it to gate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a left-hand rotation in the wind, allowing the boats to sail straight down the course here. So potentially another mistake from the Swiss there.
So Hannah, as you look at the screen, you see those wind lines coming across and the intensity of where they are. Are you agreeing with what Lisa Darmanin said? Are you going to swing this boat around and head towards the grandstands?
Well, I think the history of the last couple of laps would say that this right turn at the bottom is definitely strong, but it's changing all of the time. So the strategists particularly have got to have their eyes out of the boat and make sure you're heading the right way.
Looks like Germany, Deutsche Bank, and Red Bull Italy with Phil Robertson. They're going to try the other side. Nathan Outridge, again, as Stevie's pointed out, playing it safe. They're already into the final, and another hesitation as Germany by Deutsche Bank. Stevie makes an extra maneuver. They're going to opt for the right.
Just rushing things a little bit. I mean, if you want to get yourself on Wikipedia or Google, look up Coriolis, Todd, and that will tell you actually that typically when the land is on the left-hand side of the course with the wind like this, there will be more wind there. So this is actually science and Mother Nature working well for us right now. But yeah, you can expect more wind in there. That's why the US team are heading there. That's why Lisa Darmanin loves it in on that side of the course. But right now, the Swiss, well, they've made a mistake or two, but they're lucky in that Germany, Deutsche Bank have perhaps made a couple more.
And we know that the breeze is forecast to drop throughout the day. And when we started the day, we were up at sort of 26, 27 kilometres an hour. Now we're down to between 16 and 19. So quite a big change in the weather conditions.
All right.
Probably in the sweet spot for the configuration out there now, Han.
Yeah, I think.
So this is like 5 of 7, the 4th race for Group B here in Split Fleet Racing. They did this, the league, to basically keep the congestion with the conditions that they had yesterday, Stevie. They carried over today, but that gives us a 4-boat final. First time we've seen that in SailGP history.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the teams choose to play it out, and you know, the same things kind of will come into effect. Is how do you find more breeze on the course to get this boat speed up? And the US, they've stretching their leg. They're sailing the boat just aggressively fast around the racetrack. And you can see there, Germany, Deutsche Bank, that missed manoeuvre has let Red Bull Italy pass them. So Phil Robertson, he's looking to sign off here with a good one. But Canfield, well, what a second day that US team have had. And but for one slightly marginally unlucky call in a race yesterday, what a different story it could be. But coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Race number 2 where the US finished in 6th place, and it's coming back to haunt them because they finished 2nd in the first race of today for their group. And it looks like they may take a win here as Taylor Canfield's got Lady Liberty looking very good in Halifax right now. They'll spin the boat around again, opt for that right-hand side. We'll see what Sebastian Snyder and Explorer Swiss do. It looks like he's heading closer to shore. Nope, he's going to spin as well.
Yeah, I think there's a bit more wind in this bottom left-hand corner of our screen here. Germany again, they're not quite close enough to make an aggressive move. I wonder if Phil Roux not pushing it in there at the top of the course last time round. But the Germans have found more wind. You can just tell there's more wind because Germany have passed the Italian team by coming to the side where the US are. So more wind, generally speaking, just means more boat speed.
And as it stands right now, there is your race to the final for Group B. It would be Artemis getting in, even though they sit in 5th place right now. Explorer Swiss would get enough points to take over and hold on to that 2nd position from Germany, Deutsche Bank, and the US SailGP team, as we talked about, just going to miss out, it looks like, because did not have enough points on day number 1.
Turning up in 5, Hans. 3, 2, 1. A nice slow turn, okay?
Nice calm communications on board the US SailGP team as everyone's on that right-hand side. They spin it around the corner and they can see the grandstand and the finish line in the distance. What a way to finish for the US SailGP team as they will get a big win here. And the Emirates winning moment in race number 4 for Group B belongs to the US SailGP squad.
And turning.
They sailed a really nice race there. Explorer Swiss, well, they look like they just managed to go around the outside of Germany, Deutsche Bank, who've done pretty well. Germany now have got to be careful. Red Bull Italy, as soon as they overlap, it's right of way Red Bull Italy, and you know Phil Robertson's not going to make it easy for you. That's one thing that's as sure as Christmas coming on the 25th of December. That's an aggressive move by Red Bull Italy.
Penalty Germany, not keeping clear, go behind Italy.
That's all. That'll be cleared up now. He was behind at the finish there, so Italy got through to 3rd there. Good work by Phil Robertson and Eric. Well, it's a difficult race for them.
Yeah, Artemis brings it home, and that is the entire Group B. So the USA gets a big win here in Halifax, Canada. All right, so we are now 1:45 away from the start of race number 3. Remember, we've got 4 fleet races today. Then we'll have 3 more tomorrow. Plus, we'll have the event final where only the top 3 teams will battle it out. So, Hannah, what you've seen in the first 2 races with the wind conditions, what we've heard from Lisa down in the water, where would you want to be in the start box if you were driving one of these boats?
Well, I think from the last 2 starts, we've seen that top or bottom of the line isn't the be-all and end-all in this race setup, but you've got to be fast and you've got to be getting your bow out in front. So not only do you have to get your time and distance right, you also have to be prepared to push really hard to get to Mark 1 ahead.
Stevie, I got to love me some parity in this league, because in race number 1, the top 3 teams completely different than the top 3 teams that won in race number 2. So it doesn't matter where you are, it's how you finish, as we've got 1 minute to go and this all-important 3rd race, the penultimate race here with 1 more still to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can say there's easy conditions, in some ways today's it. You know, you can get on the foil easily, the water's flat, it's not that gusty, there's a few opportunities, so all the teams can really sail the boat well. What I've been sized about is how the teams have been misjudging this turn back to the line. USA have turned quite early here. Canfield's been the master at it. I think it's the sort of day where you can trust the software, trust the data the boat's giving you. There's not a lot to change that. Wind's fairly steady. Out the back, it's the Bonds Flying Ruse. They're going to hope to come in hot. Los Gallos are out the back as well. North Star Canada have got some space. Giles Scott seems to have solved the puzzle. He's got a bit of space at the top of the line. Bonds Flying Rue come diving through down the line. Los Gallos are diving down the line. Now it's about the wind-up. 12 seconds to go. Red Bull Italy turn towards the line, but are they too early? They might be a little early on Red Bull Italy. There could be a possible shutout at the top of the line here. North Star. Too risky by North Star. Too risky.
This is the umpires. Early start penalty. Canada, Italy, Germany.
It's going to be the Bonds Flying Ruse out the middle of the line. They've got the speed. It's a drag race between them and Los Gallos. Los Gallos are pushing so hard to hang on the inside. Right of way, Los Gallos. Surely there's more penalty to come for North Star Canada after that. And it's a sprint now. Australia will lead.
So for the 2nd race in a row, mark number 1 belongs to the Australians as they push nearly 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I can see Rockwell Denmark got shot out at the top of the line toward that start line. They all got a bit early and suddenly the door was getting shut towards the top. Look at the G-force there. Tash Bryant and Ian Johnson on the right-hand side of our screen. Hanging on here. They're away. They've gapped out a little bit. We see top of the screen there. We can see Germany, Deutsche Bank are a little back in the pack, but they found some space. Emirates GBR, they've got space too. All the boats will be lining up and pretty desperate to get that left turn if you can now.
Yeah, I think if you're in the middle of the pack here, so if Bonds Flying Ruse is easy, there's no decision here, it's left turn. If you're Mubadala Brazil, if you're US, if you're Explorer Swiss or Emirates GBR, it's much more difficult to pick a clean path and the correct mark.
So let's follow the leader out on the Great Sound, and right now that leader is the Bonds Flying Ruse. Winners of the last event, winners of the last race. Can they make it 2 in a row? They'll make the left-hand turn. They'll take the Spanish with them.
Yeah, and Swiss are going to take a left turn. They're going to be slow here. Another perfect rounding by the Spanish on that left turn. Gained on Australia there. Mubadala Brazil, great job here. Martini Grail spins the boat around gate 2. Nice manoeuvre by the Brazilian team there. They're up in the pack. Emirates GBR, it's a little bit ragged, but they've made a gain. Cut the inside on the US team. Dylan Fletcher's moving back through the pack.
The Brits, the defending champions from season 5, they need a big performance here if they have any designs on making Super Sunday's event final.
Yeah, interesting. We can see in the Oracle cloud here, bottom left of our screen, Mubadala Brazil have actually got 3-4 kilometres an hour more wind than the Australians. Oh, they've gone out of bounds. They've pushed too wide there. They've tried to stretch it, but they're going to pay a penalty. 20 metres going to get lost for them here. Costly error for the Brazilian team there, but they did find more wind. Clearly, Lisa, there are opportunities out on this course to find more breeze. What are you seeing down on the race course?
Yeah, I really feel like this pattern's emerging, but there are these sort of pulses of breeze that are coming through, so you really got to look up the course. The nice thing about Bermuda, with the weather like it is, it's awesome to be able to actually read the wind. It's a lot easier than some of the conditions. So, yeah, this is just epic racing. It's so close, and no mistakes allowed or someone will pounce.
No mistakes allowed. Easier said than done, Tom. You're going to see a manoeuvre here. Ian Jensen swinging across the boat. He's going to go and look to set up that wing sheet. There you go. He picks up the rope. Boat turns. Left-hand side of screen. Tash Bryant. She's now steering the boat as Slingsby gets up to cross. Just Jason Waterhouse to the right-hand side. He's still flying the boat. Slingsby takes takes control of the flight. Jason Waterhouse leaves. Perfect manoeuvre by the Bonds Flying Ruse.
Hannah, for someone that's been on these boats, the choreography of the changeover has got to be almost perfect.
Yeah, that's absolutely everything. I mean, you cannot sail these boats. You won't get around the course if everyone's not completely in sync, and that can be the difference between first and last, first and second. On a day like today, you have to be so in sync to nail these maneuvers.
So another boundary penalty, this time to Red Bull Italy and Phil Robertson. Stevie, is it the course speed tight, or is the speeds they're traveling at that everything's coming at them so much faster?
Well, Hannah nailed it. If you can be a bit wide on the course, you'll save yourself later on. So they try and push the rules. They try and get what you might call a professional foul, a cheap penalty. They say, oh, it's going to cost us 20 metres from chief umpire. Emirates GPR, right-hand side of the screen, dip behind there. That was really tight. Hannah Mills, she's on the right-hand side there steering to judge these crosses.
Look at this.
It's so tight in the pack. There's such a tight racetrack. USA have got to keep clear. Wow, that was tight. Canfield pushing it. Emirates GPR do make the mark, but they're off the foils. They're going to be slow. They're going to be real slow here. Mubadala Brazil spins around the outside, and Explorer Swiss, they're up and running. Bottom right-hand corner of our screen. Great job by Seb Schneider. They're right in the game here. But the class of the fleet, Los Gallos and the Bonds Flying Ruse, look at that. Leagues apart right now.
So does the Bonds Flying Ruse, the winners of the last race. They have the lead. Los Gallos, Spain, they sit in second place. And then, as Stevie pointed out, a huge gap back to third and fourth place with the Swiss and the Brazilians. And the Americans, Stevie, have fallen off that last gate. They went so very wide. And how about this action at the other end of the course?
Yeah, Bonds Flying Ruse got to keep clear. We will have a split here. Los Gallos get the favoured side. Tactical brilliance from Botin here. He turns left first. Can see good pressure on the Bonds Flying Ruse. I mean, to me at the moment, these are the two best fleets in the boat. Punching, punching, punching. This is an absolute championship fight.
Got two gold medalists going at it right now with Diego Botin and Tom Slingsby. Stevie, this was your pick coming into this weekend. You thought the Spanish just had this place on lock.
Yeah, I think in these flat water conditions, Joel Rodriguez, the flight controller on board that Spanish boat. Oh, it's a tight moment there. Germany and the USA, middle of the screen. Woo-hoo. Eric Kyle, wow, he knows how to push it. It'd be interesting to see if there's any more to hear about that. I think he was just about clear ahead, but yes, just think Joel Rodriguez, the flight controller, he's right in that top drawer. Luke Parkinson, Jason Waterhouse, that conversation for the best flight controllers in the business. Joel's absolutely in there, and in this flat water, I think he really, really specialises in pushing the boat super high.
I think you can feel just how the intensity of the racing stepped up a little bit. Breeze is up to almost 30 kilometers an hour now, just making the boats a little bit faster, a little bit harder to control. So getting those maneuvers on point is just going to be that tiny bit harder.
I think we're across.
Constant conversations here in the penultimate race of the day. Remember, we've got one more fleet race to go. We're missing Sweden. Artemis, unfortunately, had damage to their boat before the racing started. They are out. And then, of course, France with the injury to Glenn Ashby. We'll try to get you an update on that as well, as New Zealand's boat not ready. So 13 becomes 10. We go down in the water. Lisa, the water and the weather conditions, are they going to stay the same for races 3 and 4?
Yeah, we're expecting it to stay the same, but considering how flat water it is, it's not that windy. How many people are having issues? It's really surprising. It just goes to show how much everyone's just pushing.
Yeah, no question about it. As we take a look at the Rolex chasing time, it is now Australia trying to track down the Spanish. And Stevie, it looks like they're almost dead even.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. I mean, it depends if Australia can make it to the left turn. I think they're going to have to go a little slower at the end of this upwind leg. Oh, no, they have to do another manoeuvre. So it's actually a pretty big lead for Spain. Bear in mind here, no one has lost the lead from Mark 1. Yeah. The Bonds Flying Ruse currently have. Spain are really quick because in the other races they've been in the pack and they've moved up to near contention. They've got themselves somewhere near the front of the course and they are absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree out of that top gate there. They are flying down the course. More breeze, cutting the distance. At
gate number 5, Stevie, we talk about consistency being the winning formula here in SailGP. If you look at it right now, let's say Spain goes on to finish first or second. So for their first 3 races, they're going to be a 4-3-2 or 4-3-1. That is not terrible to open things up.
No, it's really good. And I think consistency is the key, but I think what's actually the key is I believe any of the teams in SailGP right now, tight moment here for North Star. Can he thread the needle?
Oh, Giles Scott, look at that.
Oh, that was pretty much surgical through there, wasn't it? Absolutely absolutely clinical by the Canadian team. Yeah, I think any team in the fleet can win a race. What differentiates your Bons Flying Rouge, your Los Gallos from the other teams is if they're 7th or 6th, they'll turn that into a 4th or a 3rd, what we'd call in sailing a solid one, a consistent counter. They'll work their way back through the fleet. A lot of the other teams, even Emirates GBR at the moment, when they're in the pack, they stay stuck in the pack.
Right now, Taylor Canfield and the US SailGP team are mired in 7th place. They're trying to pick up another spot, but this race is about done and dusted. And for the 3rd race, we've got our 3rd different winner. Give it up for the winners 2 years ago in Bermuda. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Spanish. Los Gallos take a bow. And it'll be the Bons Flying Rouge that finish in 2nd place. So the Australians, Stevie, other than that first race where they finished in 8th, they've got a 1st and a 2nd also on their report card.
Yeah, really good. As we see Germany Deutsche Bank here, they've got the right of way on the inside. The Swiss have got a little slow, but they might have a chance to slingshot over the top. No, he's got wide, a bit loose on the Swiss boat. Eric Heil, brilliant tactical sailing on board that German boat there, and they re-accelerate, blast towards the finish line here. Another good one for the German team. They've put a couple of solid races in as well. As we see in the pack there, United States 7th, Emirates GBR 8th. Those two teams, they're real podium contenders and they're struggling a bit. North Star, what a good reset by this Canadian team. They're sailing very, very well out here day 1 in Bermuda. Consistent results. Campbell James there, wing trimmer. Nice job, team. That's what you want to hear.
Might have to slow down here, guys, inside Canada. And slow down, yeah.
This is one the Americans won't want, Stevie. They finished 1st, 5th, and then they dropped back to 7th. And Emirates GBR, their woes continue. They finish in 8th place after a 7th in race number 2. They really struggle. And then race number 1, they finished in 5th.
All right. We need to just stop getting in all this trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got to agree with that comment from Emirates GBR Dylan there. You know, they're just getting a bit tangled up, a bit tied up. Often if you can have space and be away from boats, you get to use that boat speed, use all your basic skills. And Dylan said he's just found a few tricky moments.
We are under 90 seconds away. So Hannah Diamond, as we look at this and we get the information from Lisa Darmanin, where is going to be the most critical spot on this race course today?
Well, as you can see, the start line is set up right under Shark Island, so we're expecting to see a bit of a wind shadow there, so quite tricky to get away from Shark Island. But once the boat gets a little bit closer to Sydney Harbour Bridge, there should be great breeze down there.
So just over 1 minute away before the start of race number 1 here at the KPMG Sydney Sail Grand Prix, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. And now the dance begins. This is the calm before the storm as everyone tries to get themselves into position. Stevie Morrison, we've seen it before. Who's played it right this time?
Well, yeah, the timing's going to be so hard in terms of getting on the foils. Artemis have done a nice job of manoeuvring at the back of the box and staying on the foils with 40 seconds to go. Only 2 Oh, they've got a penalty for going outside the boundary on Artemis, though. Disaster. They're going to have to drop right back. Emirates GBR, bottom of the screen. They look well positioned at the moment, but they're not on the foils. Top of the line, the Bons Flying Rouge take an aggressive move down behind the Canadian team here. Can North Star defend? I think the boats are late here coming into the start line. Hard to judge. Favourite pole position is up the line, and it's going to be about hitting the boat, foiling fast when the gun goes. North Star well positioned. Emirates GBR are going to need to be foiling if they don't want to be rolled over by the whole fleet. Who's got their timing right? Slingsby dives through the middle. The Bons Flying Rouge are foiling fast out the middle of the line. Rolex pole predictor stock sits on Rockwool, Denmark, and I think the Danish should be able to drive over the top of the British from here. Look at them accelerate to Mark 1.
Softer for 5. Back in 2. It's going to roll GBR here. 1. Up on now.
And Nikolai Sandstedt calling it out as they approach mark number 1. Can they roll over the top of the defending champions, Emirates GBR? It is Rockwool, Denmark, as they approach mark number 1, looking to pick up the whole shot in the first fleet race of the day.
They just broke the overlap in time then, Todd, didn't they? You can see the gusts of wind coming down the course. Emirates GBR did a mighty job of hanging on the inside there, but it's a big gap at mark 1 here. I think that was a really interesting comment from Sehested there. Keep the battery charged. He's not talking about an actual battery. He's talking about keeping the boat fast. And I think the key to doing well out there on a day like this is keep the boat speed high. If you're going fast, you've got options.
That's going to wait for half in 5 for the jibe, I think. Copy. Stand by.
Really important to wait for more wind to make the first manoeuvre out of here. You can see they're all pushing towards that boundary to make sure they can nail this first manoeuvre.
Slightly softer out.
Bonds Flying Ruse make the turn. So in third place, the Bonds Flying Ruse. Second place, Emirates GBR. And Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell Denmark in first.
That's good angle. Hold it there.
You can see in these light winds, they've got the big foils on, so they glide nicely through the manoeuvres. But if you fall off the foils, there's a lot of drag in the water to get accelerating again there. And you can see, great manoeuvre by the Bonds Flying Ruse. They jumped past Emirates GBR. It was a bad manoeuvre. Tash Bryant telling that for us out there. And top of the screen, the Spanish, they were early to manoeuvre at Mark 1. They found breeze, and if you do find breeze, you're just going to go faster. Left-hand side, Artemis Racing at the back of the pack at the moment, but what can they do?
So at gate number 2, it is still the Danes out in front. Nikolai Sehested and Rockwell take the lead, and they will be followed around that mark by the Bonds Flying Ruse. And now a late change at the last second. Los Gallos, Spain. Now they're in the mix with North Star Canada and Emirates GBR.
Yeah, it's interesting. It shows how light it is that Spain didn't want to do 2 manoeuvres there. And I'm going to throw it down to Lisa and Contan on the water. You guys are paid the big money. Who's made the right call at gate 2?
Hi, mate.
Oh, it's really hard, Stevie, out here. I think the one thing is just being in clear air is making it so much easier and obviously minimising manoeuvres. But, Conton, how difficult is it to stick a foiling manoeuvre in these conditions?
Yeah, it's super tricky, especially on the exit of the drive. Like we see, all the boats were quite marginal foiling. Yeah, it was, I mean, as Lisa said, it will be tricky upwind now.
So back to racing action, leg 3 of 6. This is fleet race number 1, scheduled for 4 today. It is the Bonds Flying Ruse now that have taken over the lead. Tough start for the US SailGP team, Stevie. They were mired in the back, but they've worked their way up to 7th place for Taylor Canfield and crew.
Yeah, he's going to have a manoeuvre to do on the boundary, and he'll be then finding himself in a bit of disturbed air. Top of the screen, we can see that Rockwell Denmark, they invested a lot, sailing a big angle away from the wind to get up and foiling, but those 2 boats on the far side of the course there, they're coming across under Shark Island, and I think this pattern on the course, left turn at the bottom, early out, gets you away from Shark Island at the top, Hannah.
Yeah, I think that looked like a really nice choice to me. And we can see there's quite a lot of width on the course, so the boats can spread out quite a lot. We can see they've brought gate 3 down quite a bit to be in line with Shark Island, just to try and avoid some of that wind shadow, because the wind has got a little bit lighter and more patchy. So for Rockwell Denmark, they can get the boat really nice and stable, use some of the width on that course, and hopefully try and take control of this race. But if you get tied up with other boats in the middle of the course, it can be really tricky. Much harder to stay on the foils and build some speed and be fast.
Nice, beautiful, tight cross there as you have Emirates GBR and Los Gallos, Spain making the move. It is still Rockwell Denmark in first place. The Bonds Flying Ruse sit in second. They're the winners of the last event in Auckland, New Zealand. But this is a great showing for Nikolai Sehested, Stevie, and this is something they could certainly use a big win here in Australia.
Yeah, they've gone really fast here because they had a bit of a problem with the Bonds Flying Ruse potentially if they hadn't got up to their angle, but they've really gone fast across there. And this is the first time since Abu Dhabi that we've seen them performing. Now, I think it's important for us all to remember the start of season 6. Well, I mean, it's been absolutely lit up, hasn't it? It's been so windy. This is a tactician's game out here today. Very, very delicate on the foils, very, very delicate with the wings, maximise what you can get from the breeze, but then you've got to be tactically sharp.
I'll try and manage traffic myself. Yeah, right turn in 10.
As Lisa reported earlier, just 5 people on board this time around. Normally there are 6, so 1 less set of eyes out there to give Nikolai Sehested the intel that he needs. But right now he's doing a great job as he makes the turn on gate number 3, way out in front. Tight crossing here as the Bonds Flying Ruse will thread the needle. Tom Slingsby on home waters gets it done.
Rudder's coming off here.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty silky smooth, wasn't it, right through there? And I think it's interesting they talk about managing the traffic. Normally, Sydney Harbour gives us a roundabout in the middle of the course with Shark Island, and that takes care of the traffic. But this top gate here, as you can see, Rockwell Denmark have fallen off the foils. They're in the middle of the pack there. They're going to be struggling to stay ahead of Emirates GBR here, I think.
Down again now.
Yeah, to me, that right turn's really risky. You can see Emirates GBR taking that left turn. And I think if they can get up and foiling here and get that first manoeuvre across, they'll stay away from that wind shadow and they should be able to foil all the way down the course.
Yeah, already back past Rockwell. Rockwell, middle of our screen. They're going downwind and they're off the foils. It's all about sticking good manoeuvres. Can Emirates GBR stay up?
Back in the pack, there you see Switzerland in 5th place. Red Bull Italy currently holding down 6th place. US SailGP in 7th. Artemis now has moved up. They picked up a spot. Now they overtake 7th. And the Americans with North Star Canada in 9th. Mubadala Brazil in 10th. And Germany, Deutsche Bank rounding out the fleet right now. Remember, New Zealand and France not racing this weekend because of the incident and the collision and damage to their boats 2 weeks ago in Auckland.
Interesting in and out of these gates, Hannah. You mentioned it there. Rockwell manoeuvred in a really weird place. They manoeuvred kind of right in and around where it was busy, right in and around the pack where there's going to be a lot of disturbed wind. GBR came to the boundary. Bond's Flying Roos have gone all the way to the top right-hand corner of our screen. They've got wide on the course. Generally speaking, the edges of the course are going to have more wind, yeah?
Yeah, that's right, and that's why we see boats in the middle of the pack getting really stuck and that lead kind of getting a little bit bigger. So we go on board, it does look like it's pretty light, so the tempo's got to stay quite low on board, and because of the width of the course, there can be quite a lot of separation. So for the 2 boats leading, it's going to be about who gets the best shift and can carry the pressure all the way down the course.
Everyone wants to know where the wind is and where it will be coming from, and so we check in down in the water with Lisa Darman. And Lisa, as a fellow Sydney resident with Tom Slingsby, do you see an advantage that he knows this course better, or is it so patchy and unpredictable that it's anyone's game?
Oh, it is so patchy out here. When you stick an island in the middle of the racetrack, it makes it even harder. The other thing is it's not a normal direction for Sydney Harbour, so not so much local knowledge coming into play. But what I liked about what they did there is they minimised manoeuvres. They went all the way to the boundary and they got on the other side of the island to execute their manoeuvre. Constant and I have been watching all these manoeuvres. It's high pressure. How hard is it when you're in the pack, Constant, compared to out the front?
The hardest point is to make sure you are on the pressure first, and yeah, the Aussies did an unbelievable job with this. And you can see that as soon as you are off the foils, it's a game changer. So yeah, well done to them.
All the way here for clearing some gas.
Yeah, well done for Nikolai as well, because they had a terrible start to that leg, but they've got themselves right back in it. Kept the boat foiling down the bottom, and it sounds like he's learned from his mistake there. He's like, we're going to go all the way, let's stretch the course wide. I think another team to keep your eye on, top of the screen, Artemis there. They were right at the back of the pack, but they're out in space as well, so a chance for them to make a move here. And remember, there's a lot of races to get to that final 3 tomorrow, so it's about being consistent. Right of way, United States. Germany have got to be confident they're ahead here.
Softer in a second. Big righty here, eh?
I think they were clear.
Tack on boundary.
So it's Emirates GBR now that approach the DP World Gate. They'll head back up the course. Remember, we are on leg 5 of 6, so everyone heading back to the top or about where we started from, and then it'll be one short leg to the finish line, and fleet race number 1 will be complete, as we are scheduled for 4 fleet races today with 11 teams out on the water.
Bond's Flying Roos are down the road here. They're gone.
I know we're not going to get a foiler. We're just going to get onto the course here for that breeze.
That was Nikolai just before their last manoeuvre there, so they knew that they weren't going to be going fast enough to commit to a foiling tack. You can see 30 kilometres an hour, not quite fast enough to get foiling. We're looking closer to 34, 35 kilometres an hour needed to get back up on the foils.
Here we go, potentially the last manoeuvre in here. Goobs running across there. That's Ian Jensen. This is actually his first race. He joined the team at the end of last season as the champion with Emirates GBR. Possibly one of the biggest signings of the year. There he is. He's on that wing sheet. But unfortunate injury in training before Perth. So potentially his first race in the green and gold back with the Australian team is going to be a win here.
Not too shabby, as the Bond's Flying Roos, fresh off their victory 2 weeks ago in Auckland, are bringing it home as they can see the finish line, and all the fans on Shark Island are going to be very excited to see the home team bring it home. It's one more gate and then a straight shot to the finish.
2, 1, clear.
Oh, and Emirates GBR picks up a
this
penalty.
Is the umpires. Penalty GBR, port attack boat not keeping clear, go behind Denmark.
There's 3 marks.
That must have been an aggressive cross, but it won't be too expensive a penalty here. And this is, it's almost in the realms of what I call a professional foul, that one, I'd say. But it looks like we're going to get the win. Look at this shot with the Sydney skyline in the background.
As the sun begins to set in beautiful Sydney Harbour, the wind goes the way of the Bond's Flying Roos. They take race number 1 here in Sydney.
Thanks, guys. Knee's still good, FYI.
Referring to his knee injury that he picked up there. Can't be that bad, Goobs. You look like you're going all right there, mate.
So the Emirates winning moment goes the way of the home team, the green and gold, as they spin it around Shark Island for all their fans there. And now the race is on for second and third. Stevie, right out of the corner of my eye, I see the wind whisperer, your man, Nathan Outridge. He was in dead last, now moved up to fifth.
Yeah, and he's going to have a chance to get back past Red Bull Italy as well. So Rockwell are going to get round in second. That's kind of done there. They're going to be clear ahead. As long as they can just keep it foiling, it should be fine. But Italy, Red Bull Italy have got 2 more manoeuvres to do. That's going to be an interesting race. Middle of our screen, Red Bull Italy, they're in a big gust of wind. That's good news for them, but they're going to have 2 more manoeuvres. Artemis, bottom right-hand corner. They've only got 1 more manoeuvre to do, but they've got the USA in the way. It's going to be very congested at the top. The first 3 boats, it's smooth, but when you're in the pack, the details matter. Big moment for Artemis versus USA right now.
So Rockwell, Denmark will bring it across as the water shimmers here in beautiful Sydney Harbor. It will be the Danes finishing second. Emirates GBR, the winners of last season, they finish in third. And now it is all on. Artemis trying to build that speed, and here comes Red Bull Italy.
Yeah, they really overturned there. They turned too far. They lost a lot of speed. It was a hard manoeuvre, but they didn't manage to execute it. Red Bull Italy, nice job. They're going to get themselves right back in it, and this is what we expect from Phil Robertson.
And Los Gallos, they're cutting right in front as well, so a big pickup for the Spanish as they go from 8th to 5th.
Yeah, this is their kind of conditions as well here, I'd say, really, as we can see the US team. They're going to be 6th. Artemis so close. They nearly got back to 4th, but ultimately for them, they had a terrible start to that race, so they're probably not too unhappy with that race.
It'll be Jeremy Deutschebank that looks to be locking in the 8th position. And then the battle for the scraps that are left. Mubadala Brazil, Martini Grail trying to get her team some points here as Switzerland trying to make a move as well. And North Star Canada on the outside looking in here. The race is on. The battle is on for that 9th place.
And just rolling into a job.
I don't think Sebastian Snyder's going to get her.
I think it's, we're going to look back at the fleet there. We can see the German boat coming across the finish line there. Mubadala, Brazil, that's a nice job because this is a really new team. Sibello, Goodison, they couldn't get out here for some family reasons there. So we've got Rich Mason in at the back. They've had to bring in Jeremy Wilmot doing the doing the wing trim on board that Mubadala, Brazil. So a whole new team. And they've had to work really, really hard here as Canada dived inside Switzerland. Switzerland first on the foils, but they're fighting over the final point up for grabs here.
1 point available as Martini Grail and Mubadala Brazil will claim 9th, and now they will fight it out, a drag race here in Sydney Harbor. Who is going to take that final point? And right now the advantage going the way of Sebastian Snyder and the Swiss.
It's favored at the top.
SailGP, Stevie, as we've learned in many seasons past, every single point matters on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bad start for North Star and Switzerland here. They've already got work to do, but, well, yeah, it's tricky racing, isn't it? I think it's very easy to have a bad one out there today.
Yeah, all good. Okay,
and now the dance begins. 1 minute away from the start of fleet race number 6. 11 teams looking for maximum points. Stevie, the big question I got for you is yesterday we saw France, Quentin Delapierre, go to the back of the box and come and thread the needle every single time. Can they do that today with these conditions?
I think it's a lot harder today because to actually hit top speed, to go as fast as you could in these boats on this first leg is just going to be so high risk. Denmark were really brave and they still couldn't really roll over the top. That position where the Swedish team are there, Artemis SailGP team, they're kind of looking for the shorter distance where you probably don't have to push quite as hard. So no, I don't think it's quite as open today. So here we see Germany leading the fleet back. Canada are the team being brave here, but the Bonds Flying Roos are up the line as well. GBR and Artemis towards the bottom of the line look well positioned to me, but it's again going to be about accuracy. Delapierre well positioned. They're going to wind it up. The German boat turns towards the line. Rolex Pro predictors on the Aussies. How's it going? Go, 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 go. Delapierre, well, he didn't need that technique from yesterday, but he's in it again. The Bonds Flying Roos are lit up here. They are coming in seriously hot towards Mark 1. Can they roll over the top from there?
Pretty tight. I think they'll have to give them room at M1.
Looks like France are going to hold on. That was Tash Bryant on board the Australian boat saying we've got to give them room, but Slingsby's going to try and slide over the top.
Going down.
Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Ruse at mark number 1 in full send mode. All 3 boats in the front, over 90 kilometers an hour.
Have a look at it. Set up here, now they've got to cross the boat. It's bouncing around all over the show. Glenn Ashby, well, the footwork's still there, Glenn.
Oh, hold on tight.
Oh, touchdown, little slap on the water there.
Get settled. Get fast. That's an easy one. Getting spicy, isn't it?
Voice of Glenn Ashby, yeah. I'd say it's getting pretty spicy, mate. Emirates GBR, top of screen. Not a great start, but they've manoeuvred away early. They're going to have the right of way, as are Artemis, when they come back towards the fleet. The British and the Swedes look well set for an attack at gate 2. Bonds Flying Rue need to be on their toes here. They're going to have 2 people coming at them, but DS France, wow, they're going to be looking good at gate 2. I don't think they can quite make the left turn, though. Here comes Artemis. It's going to be contact time.
Okay, Mario.
Oh, Rockwell, Denmark having to take evasive action right there, and look at the bottleneck. Look at the jam in the middle.
It's going to be tight here. Could be a chance for a big lead for the French out of gate 2. They're well set here. It's so tight in the pack. Australia are clear ahead. Denmark are entitled to room. Artemis have got to keep clear of everyone. They'll probably split away here. No, they don't. Emirates GBR split. Wow, it's tight in the pack. Big chance for Emirates GBR with the split at the bottom as the United States dive inside. It's all going on here.
The USA picking up another spot. They come in hot and dip down the left side.
Wow, Artemis Racing did a really nice job on the inside there. They managed to get going, but they're not the best manoeuvre out of that mark.
Yeah, I really like the left turn there, because not only if you're turning right, you're in the fleet, but you've also got this hard boundary coming up so quickly.
Quite like the fact you get starboard tack advantage as well when you meet the fleet early on in the leg. It's got so many advantages. Lisa, GBR, to my eye, look pretty fast out there on the water. Do you think they're sailing smart or sailing fast?
Resting here, trying to get over it. That's good, good. Anything's up from here.
I'm not sure if Lisa got it. Lisa, sorry, didn't know if you heard me on that one there, but the British team seem to be doing a very good job of sailing that boat fast. Is it boat speed, or do you think they're just tactically on the game?
I think they're just staying away from other boats, and that's giving the option to sail their mode. There's no panic on board. You can kind of settle in. But just to describe how difficult it is, these waves, they're really close together. The coordination between the wing trimmer, the flight controller, and the driver is just absolutely insane out here. It is top end, and they're making it look hard, and it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's definitely hard out there, but the British and the French, they look really locked in. The Australians and people in the pack are a bit wobbly. I've got to say, the USA right now, if they can't improve on 11th here, I think they'll have missed their chance of making the final. They've got to start working their way through the fleet on the US. Aggressive mover from De La Pierre, slams the door shut on the British, trying to slow them down. They'll be disturbed there going onto that British boat. Less horsepower available, so the French should be in control.
Race number 6, leg 3 of 7 is Quentin De La Pierre and DS Team France with the lead. Winners of the last race, Emirates GBR, the defending champions, sit in second, and Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Ruse have moved up to third. And so right now we've got 5 races complete, 4 different winners. And my question, Stevie, is where is Nathan Outeridge and the Swedes? They're starting to move up now, currently sitting in 5th.
Well, they had a really tight moment. If they were probably 10 metres advanced, they'd be an easy 4th, but they had to dip behind the Danish, and they had a very, very tight call with the Canadians. Oh, he's managed to slingshot inside. It's coming down to the metres. Rockwool Denmark should have a better rounding. They should be able to accelerate down the inside, but Artemis are right in there at the moment. They look really well set there in 4th place. I think that's very good for their overall. France are going to be looking good on the overall right now. GBR, well, they've got themselves up right into contention here, but the main protagonists are at the front. Back round there, Rockwool Denmark got too high. Yeah, there we go. Look, Artemis just ahead of the Australians at the moment, but you can't afford a mistake out there. The gap back to 5th's opening up. It's turning into a 4-horse race.
Just in case you're wondering, when they cross, they are tethered to that boat, so they are not going to get thrown overboard. At least we hope not.
No, but you saw from Chris Draper a few days ago. We're on board the Danish boat, bottom right-hand side here. You can see the Danes. Oh, my days.
There it is.
Oh, that's lucky. Kiana went in for a look there. Luckily, she was just the other side of the wing, or she would have had a bit too close a contact. You fly too high and you just pop out the waves. Right-hand side of skiing, France and GBR, it's tight.
Eddie, it has to feel loose today, like for everyone. I promise you.
Not sure it has to feel that loose though, Nikolai. Do you know what I mean? There's the edge, and there's past the edge.
So it's France, Emirates GBR, and the Bonds Flying Roos, 1, 2, and 3. Sweden has now moved up to 4th. Switzerland at a top place in 5th, and North Star Canada in 6th. With the USA, Stevie, you said it, they're now up to 8th.
Yeah, they made some points. They need those points. Surprised the British went wide of the French there. They're obviously setting themselves up for later on the course. So I thought they might have gone in underneath and tried to use that boat speed. They've still got clear breeze. So the British and the France, this is now a real test of strength. And with those two teams at the moment well positioned for the final, which we know often is quite a boat speed race, this will be a real indicator. Here we go. Position at Mark 1. Look at that. Emirates GBR, 8th to 2nd. Fletcher's just not been starting brilliantly this weekend, but wow, he's made some good decisions with Hannah Mills after Mark 1 to work through the fleet.
And when you get this many boats that have this much space, you look at the top 4, a penalty now for Artemis. How do you make the overtake, or do you have to wait for someone to make a mistake?
Well, I think on a day like today, there are going to be plenty of mistakes, so that's probably your best option. You've got to sail your boat as well as you can, and then hope for a mistake from someone else. I think some of these boundary penalties are due to the sea state, because you drop that board, and then you're essentially waiting for the spot, and if it doesn't come just on time, that's when you pick up the penalty.
DS Team France out in front as they come up to the next gate. It'll be through this gate, down to the bottom, and then left-hand turn to the finish line. And Emirates GBR coming on hot. Lisa, what is the favored part of the course right now? Earlier it was the top right side. Now it looks like the wind may have shifted.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to take the right-hand turn here. When you can lay it in these conditions, you just want to take it. Nearly all the teams chose that option, and it also means that they can minimize maneuvers. But it's a pretty tight battle here between GBR and France. Who's willing to push more?
Starting to see a bit of a sort of establishment of the format there today, though, aren't we? GBR looked very fast in that first race. Australia did a nice job. Artemis SailGP team did a nice job as well. And those 4 have actually extended. When we think how fast, how close, that first race was, this one's really stretched out. And I guess what would be quite interesting if we could just get back into the booth, which we can't. But I wonder if the top teams are just better at learning from the first race. So they've all gone out there, it's all happened pretty quick, it's pretty tight, but then we've learned, we've jumped forward on things here. Rockwool, Denmark, I mean, Sehested said, it's going to feel loose, we've got to push. Problem is, if you push too hard like they did, they filled up with water after that splashdown, they're now back in 10th, no chance of the final here. And as we look at it, USA, well, they've still currently just got a chance of the final, but I think it's a very outside chance. They need something, a miracle, really, from here if they're going to give themselves a chance in this last fleet race.
This is leg 6 of 7 in race number 6. One more fleet race to go to the bottom of the course, the top of your screen. They'll make a left-hand turn, and the finish line there on the left-hand side. So if Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR are going to back up that win they had in race number 5, they are running out of time as DS Team France looking very good.
Penalty Germany. Port tack boat not keeping clear. Go behind Italy.
Oh, that would have been a messy one. Yeah, interesting. We saw the British effectively look like they might have followed the French down here, and I think they have to a point, but it's not about winning this race. It's about getting another good scoring point and not doing anything wrong. The French missed a lay line. GBR are going to potentially get it here, Todd. France have got to keep clear. Oh, they've nailed it. They missed the lay line on board France. Emirates GBR, accuracy actually on the lay lines. Any young sailors watching, don't forget the importance of the basics. Here's the Emirates winning moment. That's going to the Emirates GBR team. Snatched it at the finish.
Whoa. Breaking the hearts of DS Team France as they were looking for their second win. Remember, they won race number 2 on day number 1, but it's the winners of race number 5, Emirates GBR, the defending champions, that get the win ahead of France. Bonds Flying Roos come in for 3rd.
I mean, that just shows you just don't disrespect the basics, but to do the basics well in these conditions is so hard. Artemis have done a nice job here, they're in it. Switzerland, good to see them back, 5th place, nice one, a bit of shaking up they looked in the first race, but sailing a bit more like we know how they can.
This will be interesting to see how Artemis, with this 4th place finish, what that does to them in the overall, as Swiss and Sebastian Schneider involved in that incident yesterday with Peter Burling and the Blackfoils of New Zealand. They come in a top 5 position, and Giles Scott and North Star Canada, they will finish in 6th.
Nice one.
I think what's so interesting is Artemis is, there's obviously so much experience on that boat, but a new team. And then you've got the Australians, so much experience, but they've had to fly in Glen Ashby. But it's still these sort of older hands that have raced this type of boat a lot. you know, that can deliver.
Red Bull Italy finished second in race number 5. They'll have to settle for 7th in race number 6. And it looks like the USA will pick up 1 position, Stevie. They were in 9th. They'll come in 8th, but I'm with you. I think they needed more like a 6th or a 7th to really give themselves a fighting chance here in the final fleet race, which is coming up in a matter of moments.
Yeah, they're going to need a big slip up from one of the top teams. I mean, I'd come back to the fact that it was a great day yesterday for the US, and you know the teams just haven't raced in these conditions, so they're going to be learning a lot out there. I don't see this as like a sudden meltdown or anything like this. It's just a new experience. I mean, Rottwell, Denmark, look at that, back in 10th, and they come off the foils again. There, pushing too hard. You've got to know where the limit is. Find the limit, but don't keep going over it.
Yeah, it's interesting that Nikolai pointed that out, isn't it? It feels loose on board all boats, but you do have to know where that limit is.
I think so, especially when you're foiling. You know, it's all very well. You can't sail around at 60% of your potential. You've got to get to. But if the limit for the day is to sail the boat at 80%, sail it at 80% relentlessly. Don't try for 90 when you know that's not right.
1 minute away from the start of race number 2 as we get you ready. Todd Harris, Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darmanin, and Peter Burling on the call. And once again, we have to report that Brazil is still not out there, so they will get the 5 points, Stevie, from race number 1 and 5 more points on this one because they are unable to go. But there's still a chance they can get out there for at least 1 or 2 of the races here. Remember, we're scheduled for 4.
Yeah, technical team are working hard. It's important to see the boats working perfectly. Right. It's just a telemetry issue. That's why the umpires are giving them points. They're not racing for a safety issue.
I can't handle it. Just watch the Swiss coming behind.
And so now the stance begins here as they get in position. 20 seconds to go before the start of race 2 here in Rio.
Yeah, Rolex pole predictor, that star set up on the North Star Canada, but I think they're quite early back to the line to be able to foil Artemis. They're coming around the outside again, a bit too early for a foiling start for Outeridge. I think he's going to struggle to kill the time. We're looking for the line to turn white. It's going to be a blanket start here. Oh, it's perfect again by Artemis. Los Gallos somehow thread the needle at the top of the line. The Spanish are going to be coming in fast at Mark 1 from here.
Yeah, I think the big difference this one, its breeze has gone right a little bit, sort of so windward end of the line, so much more favoured. So you can see that super fast angle for the Spanish and the Americans coming over the top.
At mark number 1, the good news is Los Gallos out in front, US SailGP in second. Emirates GBR is back on the line, but they pick up a penalty right away, Stevie, so they kind of put themselves on the back foot. But how about this, the Rolex sprint leader going the way of the Spanish.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty slick start there. And with this wind shift, it should mean they can manoeuvre pretty early after Mark 1. You can see there, Artemis had a brilliant start, but as Pete said, a bit of a slow angle into Mark 1. So they've dropped down off the foils, but they could be well lined up for gate 2 here. Los Gallos should disappear down the road. Look how tight it in the pack. How tense is that first jibe, Pete?
Los Gallos is going to be gone here. They're the only ones left on the foil. Maybe one of these boats at the back can pull it off, but no, it's going to be amazing. I suppose that pressure of pulling off that first manoeuvre, and you know if you stick it, you're just getting so far ahead. So, yeah, right now you'll see all the boats just sitting in the bad air of that first downwind. You know, like super tight reach, right-hand shift just means you're driving going straight back through the bad air.
You can cross if you want.
Pete, for the people watching at home, we always talk about spotting pressure out in the water. They can see the ripples on the water. Stevie likes to say the ripples on the rosé. But is the same go for the disturbed air? Do you see it coming as far as who's in front of you at the angle they have on you, and you know it's coming?
With the disturbed air, you don't see it so much, but you get a pretty good understanding of where it's going to be. And also your coaches have some software that can tell you where it is. So, you know, this race you see someone like Germany there get a terrible start, but be the first one to kind of get above that bad air from the reach. So it's you know, full invert on the reach. On the first run.
So at gate number 2, the DP World Gate, it is Los Gallos, the champions of season 4. They are out in front. It is Artemis, the winners of the first race today, sitting second. And what a recovery, Stevie, by Germany Deutsche Bank. A terrible start, and somehow they found themselves in the top 3.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of control over your decision making if you're first. Ironically, when you're last, you've actually suddenly got a bit more control over your decision making as well, because a lot of the carnage is out in front of you, and you can see, you know, where are the parked cars, where's the traffic jam, and how am I going to find my way through it? And Germany's done a great job of avoiding the traffic.
Hannah, at this point, I've got to think that Emirates GBR is not panicking, but they certainly do not want to end up where they were in the first race. They've got to pick up some points.
No, that's right. And I think they might have had some technical difficulties in that first race, meaning they had to pull out. So I'm sure that's all fixed now. But, you know, the races are ticking by. They need to be climbing back up the fleet as soon as possible.
Pete, we say this a lot on the broadcast. You can usually have one bad race per regatta. You can't have two.
On board.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting trickier and trickier now with more boats. How many bad races or how bad the races can be. You know, I think the big difference now is if you're right at the back, you're better off doing what GBR did there and actually getting out of the race, getting the boat fixed. You know the last 2 or 3 boats are getting 0 points anyway, so you're better off getting it fixed, making sure you're well prepared for the next race. So I think definitely the right call trying to do that, and you can see them in the mid-pack fighting it out hard at the moment.
DS Team France, Stevie, in the back of the pack right now, as is Rockwell, Denmark, as is Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard again. As soon as you're at the back, you've run out of options. You're on plan B, C, D, E, G really, really quickly, and you've got no control over your decisions is the main problem. You might see that there's good wind there, but we're racing the best sailors in the world, so they're going to see that as well. So it gets very hard for you. I think for Emirates GBR, what they do fantastically is they execute solid manoeuvres. And Hannah said it's an execution day. She'll be looking at the numbers, I know that for sure. That'll be their opportunity. Germany here, though, they're going pretty good angle right now. Might not be going as fast, but they're minimising the distance they're sailing.
I see them.
Eric Kostgartenheil, the driver for Germany Deutsche Bank, won an Olympic medal on these waters. Back when Pete Burling was winning a gold medal on these waters. So right now it is Spain on top. Germany sits in second. Artemis sits in third, and US SailGP in fourth, with Emirates GBR doing a great job, now sitting top 5.
Keep it simple, stupid. That's the key in a lot of these boats, is how you execute those manoeuvres really well. Lisa, I think we've got you back on the water right now. It's a really tight race in the middle of the pack, but it just feels those boats in the lead have just got so much opportunity to jump away from the fleet.
All right, we'll keep trying to get back with Lisa Darmana down on the water. Meanwhile, they kept approaching gate number 3. It is still Spain, Germany, Sweden, USA, and Australia top 5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Sweden can pull off this jibe. So they're taking the favoured gate on that right turn at the top, obviously foiling around it, but super close to the boundary. So they'll be straight into a jibe where you've seen Spain and both Germany take that left turn at the top and then be foiling away. So yeah, it could be big gains here by Artemis, but definitely taking them more risk.
Leg 4 of 6 in race number 2. We'll go down one more time down in the water. Lisa Darmana, what are you seeing? Where's the favored side of the course?
Yeah, definitely the side where Los Galos is definitely where...
If you want, you can lower. It's 1 sec. That's fine.
Apologies again, having some issues with the signal on Lisa's pack, so we will get back to the racing action. Stevie, what do you got?
Well, I can just see middle of our screen Artemis there. They're showing a second, but they're off the foils right now. Germany and Spain, way off to the right-hand side of our screen, have managed to get foiling, and they've jumped away from the fleet. We should say Pete Burling's actually come in today with his black foil software, so he's able to give us an insight into the racing like we've never seen in the commentary booth before. He's seeing where the disturbed wind is, he's seeing the optimum course, but right now in the pack it's opportunity aplenty. Artemis up and foiling again. It's never over till it's over with Nathan Outteridge. He's got the right of way. Deutsche Bank Germany will dip behind. They should have an advantage when they get down to the next gate. Can Artemis stick this manoeuvre? Pressure on Dave Gilmore. He's been the MVP out there today. First day on the roll of flight control. Can he stick the manoeuvre?
No worries.
Marks out of 10 for that one, Pete.
Not bad, nice and steady. I think Germany's on lay, so I think they're going to get in and get back past them. But yeah, definitely pick a solid manoeuvre and set themselves up nicely for the next bit.
So when he says lay, Todd, what he's saying is he means he can get to the next gate with no more manoeuvres. And of course, we've seen from Hannah's debrief, you don't want to be doing too many manoeuvres.
Really a race within a race. We've got the 2 sections going on right now. The top 4, you've got Los Galos, Germany, Artemis, and USA out in front, and then a big gap back to 5th place with Emirates GBR.
Good comeback, left-hand side of screen. The Bonds Flying Roofs, they're at the back of the pack. It's going to be a high-scoring one. As soon as it gets a bit tricky like this, it's a little bit hard.
Going a bit further here. I'm happy to taking left turn here, but it's more breeze on the other side. Nice.
So what he's saying is when he gets there, I'm happy to turn left. We could see he's just turned left, but there's more breeze. He's heading towards the left-hand side of our screen. He's saying he can see more wind towards the right-hand side, and that's always the compromise in sailing. You know, you've got to control what you can control. Do you stay fast or do you sail towards the best wind? And well, I guess that's why you get paid the big bucks, Pete.
Yeah, well, they're on this last leg, so it looks like they've gone to try and shut down the boundary to that final mark. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Artemis took the different turn at the bottom, can get back in touch with them, or if they're going to hold on for a second.
Yeah, it's an interesting call, isn't it? Because they've opted for an extra manoeuvre, potentially on the wrong side of the course, if they know there's wind on the other side, just to have rights coming into that mark. So a really big call from Deutsche Bank Germany.
But will it pay off? Right now, it is still Los Gallos out in front, Artemis in second, Deutsche Bank in third. Emirates GBR has moved up to fourth as they have overtaken the Americans, who now sit in fifth.
Once again, they're going to have one more manoeuvre, as Hannah was suggesting here. We can see, right, middle of our screen, Los Gallos. It's tricky right now because there's some boats coming towards the wind, which is down. Here we go, there we go. Los Gallos manoeuvre. Crucially, Artemis are foiling. They're going to be ahead of Germany, no drama. But Spain look, oh my God, they look so slow on board Los Gallos. This is opportunity for Artemis. They could go 2 for 2 here. Can the Spanish get up and foiling again? Good news for the Spanish fans. That hulls up should mean they can build speed. Look at the top of the mast, 28, 29, 30 is the magic number. They should be foiling.
And there it is. So that might have been the move of the match right there, as they got the boat up to 30 kilometers an hour, and now it will be Los Gallos bringing it home with Artemis in the rear view mirror. So race number 2, and the Emirates winning moment goes to the champions of season 4. Los Gallos wins here in Brazil.
That was a little bit more exciting than we thought it was going to be there, wasn't it? Definitely the beautiful shift out on the left for Artemis up that last speed. And I thought they were going to be a little bit further behind, but I think USA's done really well out of that left-hand side on that last beat, coming up to 4th as well.
They do seem to be. They're going to have a bit of an issue with Emirates GBR, middle of our screen. Germany, Deutsche Bank. This is a really crucial and good result. They're coming across the line here in third. Brilliant for Eric Ho. He got a bronze medal behind you in Rio, didn't he, Pete? So no stranger to the waters here in Rio. I think Emirates GBR. I mean, it's ominous for me because they've dived inside United States. If they can just enter the circle before United States overlap, right of way now with Emirates GBR. The Americans are foiling. They've got to keep clear. Canfield's the match race master.
Look at this.
Oh, he's pulled it out of the bag there, United States. It's now an acceleration game, but they're way faster on board the United States. In the background, North Star Canada are coming in fast as well. Brilliant from Canfield.
30. Copy.
Oh, and Emirates GBR is going to try to protect that position as Canada just threads the needle on the inside.
Yeah, the Canadians weren't entitled to room, but I think that there was too much room and they took it. Open the door. Scott will take it. United States are going to bring it home in 4th. Brilliant start to racing here. North Star. Oh, they needed that one. They're going to bring it home 5th. What a comeback.
So the US SailGP team gets in 4th place. Great work by Taylor Canfield. Giles Scott finishing in 5th. After a terrible start, and now they have themselves in the conversation. Emirates GBR now settling for 6th place.
Finishing that.
You see the frustration on the faces of Dylan Fletcher, Hannah Mills, and company. Stu Bithell, I think they thought they had that. It looked like they were trying to protect that line, and then it cost them when both holes dropped in the water.
Yeah, it's very hard to re-accelerate. Something I wanted to ask Pete. I mean, I thought the Spanish were ice cold. I mean, the patience you must need when you've really lost a lot of speed. You can see everyone coming in at twice the speed. How do you stay calm and in the process?
Yeah, it looks super painful having to tack over. If you can start the tack on the foil, it's so much faster to get through and get re-accelerated. But they had to go through that tack on, 2 holes in the water, and then really a long build from there from about 10 kph. So, yeah, nice work putting it in the right spot. And fortunate they had a big enough lead to not let Artemis catch them. But yeah, I think you can see, from what GBR did there, if you get properly slow, just how long it takes you to get going again.
Phil Robertson and Red Bull Italy, they finished in 7th place with the Bonds Flying Ruse of Australia. Tom Slingsby finished 2nd in race number 1. They finished in 8th.
Yeah, I think we might need to make a little apology for some of the language there. A little bit of frustration. It's that kind of day, though. It's going to be a lot of good moments, a lot of bad. Anyone that's played Super Mario Kart will understand that. Sometimes you get in the boost through the fleet, and sometimes you get a banana skin, and I think Slingsby had found a banana skin towards the end of that one.
DS Team France will check in a top 10 position as they finish in 9th overall, just ahead of the Swiss and Denmark.
That is a tough start for Rottwell Denmark. They really need a control-alt-delete reset here because this is not what they need. They've got to start bringing points back. I know we're early in the season, we're event 4, but if you want to get to that grand final in Abu Dhabi, points count now.
And with 4 boats, doesn't really change the dynamic a whole lot. A little tighter at the start. Where do you want to be, especially knowing these characters that you're lined up against?
Well, I think we've seen that the leg to Mark 1 could be pretty long, so you've got to not only be fast at the gun, but you've also got to be sailing the optimal angle. So we'll have to see where that is dependent on the shift, but with 4 boats, it is going to be a different dynamic.
And we'll keep our eye on the wind. As Lisa Darman has been reporting throughout the day, the wind is dropping off. There you see the wind lines there. As you see the direction and the strength. So it will be the Bons Flying Roos that go to the very back of the start box. Switzerland turns in front of them. There's Artemis. They turn in front of them as well. So it's already getting a little messy, Stevie. And here comes Spain.
Yeah, those 2 boats, bottom right-hand corner, that are together are going to be potentially slowing each other up. Interesting fact, we saw it on that graphic before. Australia, they've won a lot of events. Spain have won a lot of events. The Swiss and the Swedish have never won an event in SailGP. Let's keep that in mind as we watch things, as the Rolex pole predictor sits on top of the Swiss boat at the top of the line. Middle of the line's a favoured place to be. I like where Artemis is right now. It's all going to be about the wind-up and the strike, though, from here, as we see Los Gallos dive below Artemis. They come in fast. Great position for Botin, and now we're looking for the line to turn white. It's going to be blanket start. Oh, wow. Take a look at it. That's why they're paid the big bucks as they come out of the line, blazing towards Mark 1. Fastest angle for the Swiss. Tactical advantage to the Australians, but I think the Spanish are perfectly positioned to lead at Mark 1.
And you couldn't have dialed it up any better. 4 wide as they approach Mark 1. This is the event final here in Halifax. 4 boats competing for top honors.
It's tight on the overlap. I think that the Spanish are still just about in control at Mark 1. Just. Oh, that was brilliant there. So now, big advantage to the Spanish. They're lining things up down the course, but you've got to execute this first manoeuvre. Artemis, they spin away. Got to make something happen. Roll the dice time. Rolex sprint leader Diego Botin. Accurate manoeuvres. Look at the breeze on the shoreline. Lovely gust of wind where the Spanish are right now. Vamos, I understand that. Let's go, guys.
Look at that breeze holding 20 kilometers, just dipping below across the course. Explore Swiss as we go on board, doing a great job making it to the final. They've never won an event. Is today the day for Sebastian Schneider and his crew?
They've done a nice job. They've set in that extra breeze down the boundary. I suspect we probably look for most teams to take that right turn if they can. So Spain in the box seat. Explorer Swiss, where they shut down the second. I like the angle where Spain are. Should be able to do a fast exit from here and now. Are you patient on Artemis, or do you split? I think you've got to be patient. It looks like a big bias to the right turn at the bottom here.
So as they reach gate number 2, the DP World Gate here in the event final, it is Spain out in front. Explorer Swiss comes in second. The Bons Flying Roos in third, and Artemis, the rookie team, they sit in fourth.
They're going to spin it on the mark, I think, Todd. They're going to go for a turn straight round here, and a tricky manoeuvre that.
Yeah, really hard to pull off, but it looks like they've done it really nicely. I think if you're at the back, you want an open course, you want options. Whereas if you're at the front, like Los Gallos, you're really happy to see everyone following behind you.
And interesting there, because they did it right on the mark, they were over speed for a tricky manoeuvre, and it's not easy foiling manoeuvres out there. So actually Artemis have gained a lot, because look, you see the Swiss manoeuvre on the side, but they fall off the foils. Clever sailing for the Swedish team there. Nice gain. Lisa, that was pretty clever by Artemis. Where do you see the breeze right now?
Yeah, it's not so much where the breeze is, but it looks like the angle is what's sort of hurting everyone that didn't do that manoeuvre. So Artemis, everyone else is sort of pointing towards the back of Artemis, so I'm expecting them to kind of sail around the bow. So big move by Nathan there. But what we're seeing is that the top of the course is very different to the bottom of the course. So as the next couple of minutes, I think that right-hand side where they're going is really going to start to pay.
We'll see if Lisa is the proverbial Nostradamus in Halifax right now as Artemis makes the turn. Look what's waiting for him. There is Spain right there. They'll dip behind. It is still the Spanish out in front. Artemis now inherits second place. Here comes the Bons Flying Roos as Switzerland has to dip behind them.
I mean, brilliant by the Spanish. They might not have been perfect at the bottom gate, but they've got themselves right back in. Spain have got to be careful. If the Swedish team can get alongside, it will be right of way then, but the Spanish have gapped off. They're nearly 7 kilometers an hour slower, though. This one's going to be tight. Do you think about the Swiss team anymore as those top 3, Hannah, or have they got themselves out of the battle? Different sort of thought process with 4 boats?
Yeah, I think it is a different thought process, but I think the thing is with these 3 boats is they are in phase with the shift and the pressure, so they'll be pretty confident that the Swiss are not in phase, so they should be gaining on the Swiss all of the time. I think if these 3 boats find themselves out of phase, then it's a slightly different conversation.
hear there Diego asking Nicole, tell me when they set up. So she's already gone to the other side of the boat. She's watching for some of the Swedish and some of the Australian sailors cross the boat. Brilliant manoeuvre by the Swedish. They make it ahead, and if Slingsby going to keep this amazing run he's been on alive, he's got to make something happen soon here. I suspect all the teams will follow each other right now and wait for the next mistake to play out.
One, down, fast turn, and hit it. Full cut, Joey. Front edge, no?
So on to leg number 4 of 7 here in the event final. Los Gallos still with the lead. Artemis sits in second. Here comes the Bonds Flying Ruse.
Spain lead the manoeuvre there. That's an interesting call here.
Better pressure the other way, you're right.
Yeah, so they all like there's more wind in towards the fans on the shoreline, is what Slingsby's suggesting. So I think it's a bit of a roll of the dice for Australia right now.
20 boundary.
You see Slingsby looking around. He's not sure of this call.
Hannah, what's he looking for? Tom Slingsby's got his head on a swivel.
Yeah, that's right. And the breeze is really changeable. We know that it's dropping. They've split slightly, and at the moment it doesn't look like it's the right decision, so they'll have to wait a little bit and see. They'll definitely be disappointed to be in third at the moment, and I think probably just keeping pressure on Artemis would have been the thing to do there.
I think because the Spanish, the one advantage normally of leading is you can see things and make the first decision. The disadvantage of leading is you've got to make the decision.
Yeah.
If you're in a sort of slower boat, slower moving things, you can often wait for the other people to make a call. Diego was very positive with his decision making there, and that then closed all the options down for the Australians quickly. Another point coming here. Looks like there's less distance for the left turn. So again, potentially the Swedish team are going, oh no, it looks like they're setting up on board Sweden. Outridge is potentially going to split the course here, or look for an early manoeuvre as he did last time. Yeah, expect the Swedish to spin on the mark again.
Right here and soft.
Over speed, should be able to stay foiling.
Yeah, there it is.
I say that, but it's one of the most complicated manoeuvres you can do in sailing. So, but it was brilliantly executed using that extra boat speed that they had, and they're now foiling. Can Spain stay foiling? They're too slow on the numbers. Brilliant by the Swedish again, and they're sailing back towards that side of the course. Lisa, what are you seeing? It's been good on by the fans before. Is this the chance for Artemis?
Yeah, Artemis are in a really strong position here. The pressure sort of moved down the course and strong all the way to the shore. So I think that the Spanish have a bit on here with just a couple manoeuvres left.
So we're on leg 5 of 7. It is Artemis that has now moved, not quite in the lead, but as Lisa pointed out, a strong position. They have never won in SailGP before. Their driver, Nathan Outridge, very experienced, but can Los Gallos get their first win of Season 6? The champions in Season 4 trying to desperately hold on to this first place position.
Yeah, and they've managed to keep themselves out of phase. You want to be going the opposite direction to the boat ahead. If he'd waited longer, it would have been an easy decision for the Spanish to make. It's aggressive from the Artemis team here, and they're in a good breeze. You see it's quite a dark patch of water there, so Spain still have a good lead. One manoeuvre ahead is Artemis. But when they meet each other next time, if it's close, Sweden will have the right of way.
Look at the speed on up Sweden's mast. They are at 50 kilometers an hour. Spain has dropped down to 38.
Just takes so long to build speed out of the manoeuvres with these big foils. So looking a little bit better for Artemis just now.
Yeah, theoretical ladder lines are that way. Favouring, still going 10 kilometres an hour faster. There's just got to be more breeze where Artemis is at the moment. The wind whisperer feels like he's whispering. There you go, if they stick this manoeuvre. Oh, can they stay foiling?
It's gonna be
Spanish
close.
set up, Spanish set up. Oh, Artemis are ahead on paper. They're ahead on paper at the moment. The Bonds Flying Ruse are out the back. They've lost a lot here. What do you do on board Artemis? I think it's a right turn favoured. Spain will do the opposite to the Swedish, I would suggest. Here we go. Well, it's going to come down to where there's more wind. They're going to be absolutely neck and neck at the top of the course. 2 more manoeuvres to do for Spain, 1 more for Artemis. Who finds more breeze on the downwind leg? Can Artemis win their first ever race in SailGP?
Or will Spain win their first of the 2026 season, the champions of Season 4? They've been in a bit of a drought. They've been in some finals, but they are looking for the win.
Yeah, there's the Oracle Cloud, Hannah. It looks like a little bit more wind on the Swedish, but Spain look like they've got a good angle. It's potentially a gain to the Spanish at the moment.
Yeah, they did have an extra manoeuvre to do, but it looks like they've pulled that off quite painlessly, and it's going to be really close here.
As soon as you're going downwind, Todd, the manoeuvres aren't as painful. Yep, Spain have got it right. Oh, what a call by Bottine at the top of the course there.
Here we go, leg 6 of 7. It's a right-hand turn, and then a championship is win distance. Here comes Nathan Outteridge and Artemis. They're speeding on. Here's the maneuver of the match. Can Diego Bottine and his crew pull it off? A stay up on the foils, and it's a right-hand turn and a drag race to a win.
2, 1, up.
Spain are nearly matching speed, I think, with Artemis now. If Artemis have got to try and dive outside and look to overlap. Disturbed wind onto the Swedish right now. The Swedish should be getting slowed by the Spanish, and it's controlled to Los Gallos.
As they come to the finish line, vamos, Los Gallos. They will claim the victory and take the win in Halifax.
Oh, what a race. Oh, I've got to say, the last 2 races today were absolutely incredible. Both of them involving this Spanish team.
They've been in 3rd twice, they've been in 2nd twice, but their first win comes in Canada as they get it done in Event 7. And how about this? Explorer Swiss said, you know what? We want to be on the podium. Explorer Swiss will hold on for 3rd place as they get around the Bonds Flying Ruse. Great work by Sebastian Snyder. And Tom Slingsby's run of victories, 3 in a row, comes to an end as the Bonds Flying Ruse will finish in 4th.
Yeah, but he still extended his lead in that race to Abu Dhabi. And I think for Artemis, 2nd, they'll be gutted. They just probably got their nose ahead in theory, but they were tactically a little bit out of position in that race. But in their race to Abu Dhabi, massive weekend for Artemis.
Vamos.